episode 114 of the internet sensation known as Triple Threat Talk. I'm Gary the Dr. Locker, joined as always by Big B, Brandon DeMiro. I just can't get over this class. PostMaster Jones.
What is
Mr.
this?
Jimmy Biggers, the librarian today.
So we have Gary, attorney at law.
That's right.
Postmaster, the librarian, Jimmy Biggers, and I'm still Big B.
Today on the show we have all sorts of good things for you. We have tennis, we have NASCAR, we have golf, we have local and national sports scores and sports stories of interest and regarding NCAA football. Johnny Manziel, he just can't keep himself out of the news.
No.
And the return
See this again,
of the legendary Pick'ems. Hello, old friend. I missed you. But first and foremost, we got to get down. Unfortunately, Postmaster, we don't like to start off on such a note, but I'm going to have to defer to you. You brought up some news to me earlier I was not aware of, so I figured I would let you handle it.
All right, well, as you know, here on the show, we usually don't like to talk about this kind of stuff. We know it has to be talked about. I forgot to mention this to you. I apologize. But as many people know, a lot of things have happened here lately regarding in the wrestling world and
Oh my God.
in the wake of the show here. So we just wanted to clear the air, and we wanted to congratulate Cody Rhodes and Big V on their upcoming wedding together. Nuptials. And in fact, to show that we're just so thrilled and excited, me, myself, and the doc, of course, to show that we hear all about equality at Triple Threat Talk, I have agreed to throw him a bachelorette party, I guess it would be, and none other than the appropriate place known as the Back Door. Yes, that is the name of a bar. So, without further ado, if you'd like to send Big B a gift or a Rhodes, I've actually registered them online at Bed Bath & Beyond, Target, Sears, and I think because he has a sick, twisted mind, the doc said Victoria's Secret, but I kid because I care. So, without, just like to say, congratulations to Big B and Cody Rhodes on their nuptials, and if you'd like to attend the party at the Back Door, Big B's favorite place, feel free to contact us here at triplethreattalk.com or via our personal Twitter page or our Facebook.
I do want to ask you, how are you and Cody going to deal with one income household?
It's got to go all downhill from here.
Oh, you're in for a show of it.
It's on a slippery slope to the bottom. See, usually we start up here, we end up down here. We're already down here, so we have nowhere to go but bottom. So.
Without further ado, here's your question.
I'm gonna need a Band-Aid after this one.
Before I vote of these questions, I just gotta ask. Don't you find the Back Door an appropriate place to have your perception? I mean, honestly?
No.
No? Oh, boy. From Against All Odds 20.
It's a place full of exit signs in there.
Is that what it is? It's kind of dark, too. I think the walls are painted brown. I'm just saying.
There's an unusual smell emanating from there.
I agree.
Where's this going?
Nowhere but up.
I can't go anywhere but down.
From Against All Odds 20.
Oh, yeah.
Do you feel people's fears are just what, when they say this, will last until Cena returns to save the day, or is it just fears?
What does that mean?
I guess he's talking about these whole Daniel Bryan.
So they're saying, is it going to last until John Cena gets back?
Yes.
Well, yeah. I mean, they have to do something right now at this point because Cena's not there. He's not able to participate because of the injury. This is the thing they're going with at the moment. So, obviously, Triple H is power hungry, and obviously every superstar is scared to say what they feel. Obviously, Dolph Ziggler understood it. Big Show and Cody Rhodes obviously know what's going on with...
At least you get to spend more quality time with them.
I'm not going to do a question out tonight. I know I'm not. But anyway, they've all felt Triple H's wrath in terms of his power and the way he's running the business and the company in Raw. So obviously, this is going to continue because they're a group now. Orton and Triple H are kind of in cahoots, and they're kind of running the company, sort of a corporation-like kind of thing. So this is going to continue until something happens with either Cena comes back or someone, maybe Daniel Bryan wins the title and it kind of changes the outlook.
I hope it doesn't last till Cena gets back, but I think it's going to. And if not, Cena's going to be right back in the picture when he gets back, probably win the Royal Rumble. I just hope Daniel Bryan gets it because he deserves it. He hasn't held the title as much as he should, and if anybody in that company deserves it, it's Daniel Bryan.
I agree with the doc. I mean, Daniel Bryan definitely deserves it. He's definitely paid the price. He's started from the very bottom of the bottom, wrestling in bingo halls and church gyms and school gymnasiums, to now, working at WrestleMania and this, that, and the other. And he definitely deserved it. He is definitely the blue collar look when it comes to that for sure. From the Buckin' 5, since you were complaining about preseason football games, do you think they should still be played, and why do you think they're important?
I think they should be played only because it gets the team ready, it gets them prepped up, it gives them kind of getting warmed up for the regular season. They're talking about possibly going to 2 games and adding 2 more on the schedule, so that'll be an 18-game season plus only 2 preseason. I'm not in favor of that as much because, you have to develop your players. RG3 hasn't played in preseason. That's why I'm concerned about the Redskins coming next Monday, because he hasn't played a snap in preseason, so he doesn't have time to really test that knee in an actual game setting, be getting hit and kind of seeing how it feels getting up. So that's another reason I think preseason is important, just because, the games don't count, but you get out there in a live game setting to kind of see how your players are and kind of seeing where you're at, and plus maybe test some backups and get your backup staff ready, get your backups ready, see how they're going to progress. I think it's important for that reason. And again, if you go into the season cold and you're not really warmed up, you're not really ready, a lot of teams can come out the starting game kind of slow. They usually have a high tempo offense and they kind of come out of the gate kind of slow. So this gives them a chance to prep up and get prepared.
I disagree completely. I don't think that preseason games are worth merit. The only good thing that they are for is to whittle down the rosters down to that 53-man target, and you can do that in practice. His team is a shining example of that. Russell Wilson didn't get that job in preseason. He got it over the course of practicing, and I don't think...
I don't agree with that at all.
I just don't think that... I just don't think that preseason needs to be played at all. The games don't count. Viewership is down when they do play preseason games. Nobody really watches them. The only ones that are worth watching are Sunday Night Football, and that's only because it's on national television. It shows you how much that they like preseason. When the entire games are played, you can't see them live at all, except for maybe 1 or 2. They're spread out over the weekend on NFL Network.
Yeah.
So it shows you that they don't really care too much about it. They just show 1 or 2 of them live, the Sunday Night Football, and the rest randomly over the NFL Network. I think they should scrap all 4 games completely and open up unlimited practices, because right now you can only run 1 a days in a certain amount of time. In college football right now, it's actually the exact same thing when it comes to practicing. Limited amount of time and 1 a days. And that's how you need to be. That's how you need to whittle down your 53-man roster. It's the pros. We're not in high school. We're not in college. Preseason. It's a thing of the past. These people get hurt frequently, and the shining example is how many injuries were there in this off-season and preseason games. It was up way more than it usually is, and at least 60% of the NFL teams now are without key contributors.
Yeah, but most of the injuries occurred in practice in many cases.
Actually, yes, that's true. Most injuries did occur in practice.
Kevin Cole slipped on a mat. He's out for the rest of the year, which is ridiculous. It's a heartbreak.
Yeah.
Harmon got injured in practice.
So, I mean, it's still true, And then when all I'm saying is when you add the physical competing against other teams that aren't going to be as kind to you as your own teammates, as we saw with the Vikings and 49ers hit that we talked about last week, you're just adding a whole new aspect.
Yep. I think really the only thing the preseason is good for is to line the pockets of the owners because of all the money that's made on a preseason. Because tickets for a preseason game are almost as much as tickets for a regular season game. They don't discount them like they should. I think if they're going to play these preseason games, I think it should be $25. You sit anywhere you like. General admission.
Hell, it shouldn't even be $25. It should be like $10.
First come, first serve.
Yeah.
And go with that. I mean, if you're
Fans are
play
doing you a favor.
yeah, they don't have to show up.
Yeah, they
I
have
mean,
to show up to your
most
preseason.
people show up because it's football. They're starving for football. It's the most popular sport in America. But you know, if you look at a preseason game, the stadium is 3/4 empty after going to the fourth quarter.
And the thing, not just to mention preseason, but regular season too. It seems like more and more now, because how good technology has gotten without HDTVs and all this stuff. It seems like staying home and watching the game is better now than going.
Or going to a bar.
Yeah,
unless you're your friends
watching
or
it,
family.
watching it on TV. It's like when I was a kid. All right, going to Super Bowl was something that I always dreamed of doing because of the spectacle of it. But now it's like, you know, you get a great view of the game on television. You can see all the great commercials. It seems like more and more now, because of how technology's advanced, watching the game at home is the best thing in the house. I mean, to go, it's a great experience, but it seems like it's not worth. Especially if you go to Super Bowl, it's like spending like $500 to see ants play. You know what I mean?
Exactly. I agree. Also from the Buck and Five, since Johnny Football will play when the Alabama faces Texas A&M, who do you think will win that game?
Should we wait till we do the pickers for that?
Well, it's actually not until next week.
Well, we'll do it next week.
All right, we will answer that question next week.
Yeah.
But something to
We're
ponder.
not ignoring. We're just ignoring it until
Next week.
next week.
Do you think it would be a good idea if WWE took SmackDown off the air
Absolutely.
and just had one show? They could defend the World and WWE title on a different pay-per-view each.
I think that'd be a horrible idea. I think that they have too much of a deep roster to put them on one show. Some people wouldn't get featured as much. They're on SmackDown that have a spotlight, like Christian. He wouldn't get featured. I guarantee right now, if they had one show, Christian wouldn't get featured as much. I don't think Del Rio would get featured as much. I don't think some people on SmackDown, like the mid-carders, wouldn't get featured as much. SmackDown. The thing about SmackDown that's bad, it's not the product. I don't think is that bad. I think it's when it's on. Honestly, I think Friday is a horrible night for SmackDown. I think it should either be on Tuesdays live. I think that'd be a great thing because SmackDown, every single week spoilers get leaked out for SmackDown. Everyone reads them. It's no mystery.
That's why nobody watches it.
So that's a big issue. I think if SmackDown were live on Tuesday, I think that would be a great thing to have happen. Do it live if you can, or not. Do it another night of the week. Do it Thursday. I don't care. But Friday's a horrible night. No one watches SmackDown on Friday night. I don't understand how it's still on Fridays. I don't know who's behind that idea. Who made the decision in the first place to have Friday night SmackDown? Well, WWE obviously decided to put it on Friday.
I think it was the only time available.
But I mean, they should really think about putting it on another night because I don't think anyone sees SmackDown other than if you look it up or if someone says, "Hey, check this out," then maybe flip it on. But it's not a bad. I don't think going to one show is a good idea, but I think they need to switch the night it's on.
I think having SmackDown on Friday nights is a terrible idea. They just need to get rid of it if they're going to do that. Keep on doing it. A lot of the mid-carders wouldn't get featured, though. That is an issue. What I think they need to do is corner the end and beginning of the week, go Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and go with it as such. And what they need to do is Sunday pay-per-view. On Sundays that their pay-per-views have pay-per-view. Monday have Raw. Tuesday have SmackDown Live, and go from there because it's on that death slot. They're not competing with anything at all. And as you said, there's no reason to compete because everything is leaked anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So that leaves you with Fridays being dead air.
What do you think of this idea? Stop taping it on Tuesdays, okay? Do it live and compete with TNA on Thursday.
I like that
Because
idea.
they get the same amount of ratings that TNA does. Pretty similar.
I like that idea.
That's actually pretty
It would
smart.
crush TNA.
That's their idea.
TNA would destroy. TNA would
That would be the end of it. I think take it off the air, maybe not, but I like their idea of moving it maybe to Thursdays. Maybe have it live on Thursday instead of tape. So
Taping for SmackDown really hurts it a lot.
yeah, it really does because you can read what happens and it's kind of crazy. So with that, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll wrap up user questions as the doc continues to play with Dino. And we'll get into headlines quite a bit this week. Stay tuned. Triple Threat Talk, Postmaster Jones, the doc, and Big B. We'll be right back.
The late 90s. A chance meeting at summer camp between young Colin Kaepernick and Russell Wilson sparks one of the fiercest Madden rivalries of our time. They vow to become the greatest mobile quarterbacks in the NFL, so they can someday beat each other with each other in Madden. Their training regimen quickly becomes the stuff of legends.
Set, hut.
all their years of hard work have led up to this moment. Man versus man. Video game man versus video game man.
Is that how you do it?
A season 25 years in the making. Madden NFL 25, rated E for everyone.
EA Sports, it's in the can. Official game console of the NFL.
And welcome back to the show. Postmaster Jones, Jimmy Biggers, along with Big B, Brandon DeMiro, and the Doc, Gary, attorney at law, Lockard. So before the break, we were in user questions, so let's keep on rolling with that from the Jeffrey Caster. Let's be honest here. Do you think the Los Matadores characters are stupid and a waste of time? I mean, it's Primo and Epico. Who cares?
Whoa.
They're not going to get their push. They're going to be a complete waste.
I think they're going to
Tell
get
us how
their
you
push.
really feel,
Yeah, really.
Jeffrey Caster.
I think they are going to get a push. Everybody that's new gets a push. Is it a complete waste of time? Absolutely. They're not going to go anywhere. Their promos are stupid. I mean, it's absolutely absolutely ridiculous.
I'll say this much, just because how crazy some fans can get in certain areas of the country, like, you know, after WrestleMania. I guarantee you, if they stick around for a little bit, you're going to hear an LA chant. I guarantee it's going to
Probably.
You know, I thought Primo and Epico were a half-decent team when they were around, especially with Rosa Mendez. They were nice to look at. But I don't think they're a
I don't
weight.
think Cody would like you saying that.
So much to keep a tally of score at home.
Especially with your wedding next week. How's that make the groom feel?
I'm not going to get through the show tonight. I'm not going to make it out alive. So please send help. But I don't think it's a waste of time because they're repackaging him for a reason.
Nah.
What are you, 12? They're rebranding him for a reason. Is that better for you? They're changing the gimmick for a reason. The Matador gimmick kind of just you go, what? I don't understand why that's their gimmick or not. I don't know. We'll see what happens. We'll see if it catches on or not. It kind of seems it's not really going to catch on. Although I didn't think Fandango caught on, and look how that turned out. So we'll see. But I'm interested in seeing how they push them and how they use them correctly. We'll see what happens. I don't think they're going to be. I don't see them really climbing the tag team ranks. I really don't. But we'll see what happens.
Stop.
That's it. I don't think they have a snowball's chance in hell of making it through.
I agree. I think it's a waste of time. I mean, if you're going to bring in two new guys to play these characters, that would be one thing.
Yeah.
But the fact that we already know who it is, and it's pretty bad that we can already know who it is,
Yeah, exactly.
it kind of makes it a little
I'll
rough.
say this much: when I saw the promo the first time, I thought it was like a new singles wrestler.
Yeah.
So I thought it was some Spanish Matador type guy. I'm like, oh, it's not, and it's like, oh, it's a tag team now. It's Primo and Epico. Because
Yeah.
you can see their face, you can kind of tell. So.
Turning Randy Orton heel, mistake or not?
Again.
I don't think he's
No.
he was still getting cheers.
Well,
I don't think he's a mistake. I think they did pretty good with it. He still got his fans, and you know it's one of those things that he still has support. So does Triple H. Triple H, by all means, doesn't come out to being all.
he's
huge.
doing a great job as in charge.
He's doing a great job as in charge and everything like that. And people are still cheering him. I don't think it was a mistake at all. I think they know what they're doing. I think Daniel Bryan is definitely the most over superstar right now. But the other two are by it's majority cheers when the other two are still coming out. You do hear boos, but overwhelming cheers still.
I think it's good for Randy Orton to be in the position he's in. As terms of the heel, I'm still kind of in that group of people. I don't think he deserves to be the champion because of what happened off screen, because of what he did. If his name wasn't Randy Orton, he probably would have been fired. But because his last name, he's still around.
And he's Triple H's best friend.
That helps too. Right in the back pocket. But I like him as I guess you can call him the quintessential face of the company. Even though still technically John Cena, while John Cena heels. But I think it's good that they're kind of doing this establishment kind of thing where Triple H is kind of pulling the strings and Randy Orton's kind of his puppet. He's just doing what he's told by Triple H because he gave him the belt. So I think that's a good idea. Obviously, it's kind of like Daniel Bryan and the rest of the locker room kind of branding as getting together as one, trying to defeat the opposition, which is Triple H and Randy Orton. So I think it's a good idea, and I think Randy Orton to be in that spot, I think it makes sense.
I think the storyline's already getting old after 3 weeks of the same thing. The way Raw went off for the third straight week, it's kind of like, yeah.
Well, we'll see what happens now. The champ, they're probably kind of.
I mean, they got to do something.
22nd.
They got to do something soon to make it.
Yeah, I'm sure they. I'm sure, obviously, they probably have something planned like way in advance. They probably have some kind of wrapping up conclusion.
Right.
And Brian Kane actually brought up a good point when we get to WWE. I'll actually mention that. Actually, I guess that's a pretty good idea.
Big B. How does it feel knowing Cody Rhodes went bye-bye?
I forgot one more bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
I don't know. Well, you talk to him every night and every day, so what's his mood like been since Monday? How's he been
We'll
feeling?
talk about Cody Rhodes when we get to WWE. Moving on.
All right. With John Cena gone and with no trust in Daniel Bryan, do you think that the McMahons are hijacking the spotlight on Raw?
No. First of all, the McMahons aren't on Raw at all, except for Stephanie. For what doesn't count.
Yeah.
For what doesn't count.
And Vince has been on there. He was on there every week, but last week.
That's true. But I don't think they're hijacking the spotlight. I think, if anything, I mean, it may not seem that way, but they're really building up Daniel Bryan more than you think. I mean, they're having him featured every week. They're having him face these insurmountable odds, and he's usually beating them. They're really making Daniel Bryan seem like he is the face instead of Randy Orton. They're really putting Daniel Bryan in a perfect spot to potentially maybe win the title back at Night of Champions. I think he's going to. I think they're doing an excellent job. I mean, again, they're beating him up, but people are getting tired of it. But if you look at it this way, they're really making Daniel Bryan feature, and they're really putting him in a spot to be somebody instead of just kind of where he was a little while ago, just not really doing much. So I think it's good what they're doing.
I think they kind of are hijacking a little bit. I agree with Postmaster. I think the storyline's getting a little old, but I also agree with Big B that something is going to happen soon. It's almost got to.
Yeah.
It's been good so far this year. It's not getting like way like John Cena old yet, but 1 or 2 more weeks of them ending how it is, people are going to want something new. So I do see this storyline wrapping up very quickly because all it is Stone Cold Part 2, except for with Daniel Bryan. So I think this one's not going to last as long. I think this is just a little bit of filler while Cena's gone.
All right. I agree as well. I don't think I could say it any better. So with that wraps up user questions this week. We thank you all for the questions and comments. A lot of them this week. Good stuff.
More bickering than.
Well, that's okay though. It's a fan forum. They're allowed to voice their opinion.
The voice of the voiceless. Right?
That's right. So with that, I think in honor of Big B and Cody's nuptials this week, and since he did discuss Cody Rhodes and his questions, I guess Jeffrey Caster.
Welcome back. Thanks a lot.
will be this week's Triple Threat Talk Viewer of the Week. And with that, Big B, if you would, play the music and cue the music for headlines. And don't get confused and play Here Comes the Bride, because I know it's got to be on your mind. Doctor, give me the news. I got the bad case of the headline blues.
Oh yeah, do the gear.
They just automatically play it. I'm not even gonna throw to it.
We're working it out.
Someone just automatically hit a button.
They touch the button.
All right. Speaking of touching button.
Are you gonna make it, fella?
Andrew Bishop, wherever you are, please help me.
You forget
he
to
can
show
help
his
you now.
tape. They cannot. Even if you scream for help, we're long gone. We have left the studio hours ago.
This is the equivalent to space. In space, no one can hear you scream.
You're like Sandra Bullock in Gravity.
Creepy. I don't want to feel that way. I can't rub on anything.
Oh my God.
That's freaky. That's what we got to say. Anyway.
Pirates' first 500 season since 1992 in the Major League Baseball.
Congratulations to the Pirates.
Congratulations
1992.
Took them long enough.
In 92, it was Bill Cowher's first year as head coach of the Steelers. The Pittsburgh Penguins won the Stanley Cup. I mean, that's a great accomplishment by the Pirates, and I think they're going to go in the playoffs. They look absolutely great. They added Justin Morneau to the team. That's a good pickup. McCutcheon's playing great. This team looks really good heading to the playoffs.
Billy Hamilton got called up to the Reds. He did an outstanding
Good job,
first
Billy.
job.
He got his contract purchased by the Reds.
Yeah.
So.
Now, this stat I'm going to throw out there, okay? It may sound far-fetched, and it may sound completely wrong, but believe me when I tell you it's not. Last season, Billy Hamilton with the Louisville Bats, he stole 155 bases.
So that wasn't. He wasn't bad last year.
He was D2.
He was in
Division
Double A
two.
and A.
Okay, but he did still 155 bases.
Yes, he did do that,
Yeah.
but
Right.
Yeah.
But that's just insane.
Yeah.
his biggest problem though is his batting average is horrible.
Right.
He's got to get on base.
But the thing I like about the aspect of the Reds getting into, because I think the Reds will make the playoffs too.
It's probably going to be the Reds, the Pirates.
There's going to be 3 out of
Right, I would say so. Yeah.
Yeah, both National League wild cards.
Because whoever wins division, they
because the Braves are in a runaway.
Right.
The Dodgers are in a runaway. So
that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'll say this about the Reds. This is the aspect I like about the Reds. It gives them a dynamic that they haven't had before. Again, I agree. Billy Hamilton hasn't really been the greatest hitter from what I've seen, from what I've paid attention to. But they have the aspect that they can get a person on base, pinch running, Billy Hamilton, and that guy is lightning fast.
And that's going to make some plays.
So that's a good aspect they can use against other teams.
And speaking of the Reds, just want to give you all a heads up and to look out for this on the show next week. Triple Threat Talk will be on location in Cincinnati this Friday night. Be going up to see the Cincinnati Reds play the National League West leading Los Angeles Dodgers. I figured why not go check out that would be an excellent game to go check out.
MVP
sure.
could be a playoff series.
Yeah, it could be.
So we're not going to the poker tournament?
No. I've committed to take father-in-law to the Dodgers game.
Understandable.
So we're not going bowling?
No.
Big B, take us through some tennis.
Let me have my notes.
And I've actually I talked to Cody, and he's going to let Big B come out for the night, so he's going to join us as well.
You're going to let him come out?
Yeah. He's going to join us at the ball game,
nice.
So it should be a good time.
All right, so I wasn't going to do this, but because you're sticking it to me, I'm going to do it anyway. Last week, as you proclaimed your love to Christina McHale, it was kind of the kiss of death because she lost.
I'll kiss her another way. Make up for it. I'm not too little of a man.
It's an equal opportunity.
I'm an equal opportunity kisser. I mean, I'll kiss her. I don't care if she needs a little consoling. We can send her my way, maybe. I mean, that's fine.
The doc probably looks at her and goes, "You've got to kiss an angel good morning and let her know you think about you when you're gone."
What is going on here? What is going on? All right, so anyway, U.S. Open news. One of the biggest stories coming out of the U.S. Open, Roger Federer loses in straight sets to Tommy Robredo. First time Federer hasn't made a Grand Slam final since 2003. Something's going on there. I don't know if it's still his back or what it is. He doesn't look the same. He made a lot of errors the other day when he played Robredo. He didn't look the same as he usually did. He's trying to switch to a bigger frame for racket. It's not really working out for him. He has to go back to the drawing board. He was number 7 ranked. I don't know if he's going to drop any further than that, but not a good outing for Federer as he loses in straight sets. They even get a set off.
Is he done?
He's out.
No, I mean, is he done?
No, he's not done. I don't think he's done.
You think he's close to done?
It looks. Here's the thing about Federer, and I'll say this. He used to strike fear into his opponents. I don't think he does that anymore. I don't think the fear is there anymore. I don't think they see Federer as he's still the greatest of all time, but I don't think they see him as the best player in the world anymore. They don't see that anymore. It's people like Nadal and Djokovic and Murray, people that are the best in the world at this point. But I don't think Federer has that same kind of presence as he used to in terms of the aura that is Roger Federer. I don't think the people really see that anymore because he used to lose to people like Djokovic and Nadal and Murray, but now he's losing to people like Robredo and Sergei Stahovsky at Wimbledon and all these people that people never really heard of before. So obviously he's not as dominant as he once was. The thing that I posted on Twitter yesterday, and this will lead into the break, and then I'll come back and wrap up current stuff. So yesterday, Leighton Hewitt played Mikhail Yuzny in the fourth round of 16, if you want to call it that. And I was out and about yesterday, so I wasn't really checking the match too much. So I was looking at my phone every once in a while. Hewitt eventually was up 2-1. I was like, good. He was playing really well. He beat Del Potro along the way. It's a great win for Hewitt. Then he's up in the fourth set, 4-1. I was like, oh, great. He was up 4-1. Loses the set 6-4. Lost 5 straight games. I was like, not good. But maybe you rebound, win the 5th set. So I go see Elysium yesterday, and I checked on my phone during the 5th set. Hewitt's up 5-2. I was like, okay, good. He rebounded from the 4th set. He's playing good in the 5th. He has this match wrapped up. He loses 5 straight games again. Loses 7-5 in the 5th. I don't get it. I don't understand how Hewitt could be up.
I get it.
I don't.
He folded like an Italian beach chair.
Yeah, he did. But the thing I don't understand, the momentum was there in the 4th. Completely lost it. Then he regains in the 5th. That's hard to do when you have such a big lead in the set, and someone just completely comes back strong and wins that many games in a row, and then you have it at you again. You can't let it happens again. And I don't understand how that happens to Hewitt. Hewitt used to be so mentally tough. He's not as mentally tough as he used to be. Obviously, that's clear. I mean, I'm proud of him for making the round of 16 at a Grand Slam. That's a great accomplishment by him, considering he's had so many injuries and he's been such an inconsistent player since his dominance in the early 2000s and mid 2000s. But I don't understand how that happens. How you're up still by so much in the set and let someone just come fighting back. That's a good job on Mikhail Yuzny to come back in that. But for Hewitt to lose 5 games in a row twice in sets is just it's bad. It's just really struggling. And when we come back, talk about current stuff going on in the U.S. Open, including the semifinals of the women's and more quarterfinals with the men. We'll be right back here on Triple Threat Talk. Stay tuned.
We really wanted to take a relaxing trip to Florida, just to unwind.
But we can only afford one trip this year, and his high school reunion is coming up in Seattle.
Everyone's going. Then we heard about Hotwire and realized we could actually afford to take both trips.
See, when really nice hotels have unsold rooms, they use Hotwire to fill them. So we got our 4-star hotels for half price.
I should have been voted most likely to travel.
HOTWIRE, hotwire.com.
Save big on car rentals too, from $11.95 a day.
And we're back here on Triple Threat Talk with the librarian, Postmaster General Jimmy Biggers, and the nurse practitioner, Gary, the attorney at law, looking at Jimmy's lenses locker. Longest name in history. All right, so obviously, before the break, I talked about Hewitt and obviously the struggle he went through. Now we get to current stuff. Semifinals women are set. Li Na playing really well in this Grand Slam. Won the French Open before a couple years ago. She takes on Serena Williams. Serena Williams just really destroyed. And that's not even the perfect. I don't know what word to use. She beat Carlos Suarez Navarro 6-love in 51 minutes. He even watched it, and
I was like, what a wallop.
I mean,
that was insane.
And the worst thing about it was her birthday.
It was the poor girl's birthday, and they asked Serena about it.
Well,
they said no. They said, Serena, did you even know it was her birthday? She said, no, I had no idea it was her birthday until I got ready to walk out on the court to play her, and she just went in 51 minutes. 51 minutes. 6-love. Talk about a beat down.
Well, at least she got her double bagel. She got her double bagel for her birthday. At least she's not too cold-hearted.
Well, you know what it was?
Yes.
Serena wanted to give her plenty of time to celebrate for her birthday, so she ended her night early. So that was very commendable. That was very thoughtful of you, Serena. That was very awesome.
So Serena takes on Li Na in one semifinal. The other semifinal, the Italian, the veteran Flavia Pinetta awaits the winner of Azarenka and Hantuchova. They're currently playing while we're filming this. I would assume Azarenka comes through that one, but you never know. They're 2-2 series, Azarenka and Hantuchova, so it could be anyone's match. But I think the way Azarenka is playing at the moment, we're going to have Flavia Pinetta versus Azarenka in the other women's semi. According for the men, the other side, Djokovic, he looks really strong right now. He won his last match against Marcel Granollers from Spain.
Wow.
6-3, 6-love, just completely owning him on that.
So if I took this page away from you,
yes,
could you spell those correctly?
No, absolutely not. So Djokovic plays Mikhail Yuzny, who's battling back from a fifth.
I know I couldn't do it.
Yuzny who battled back to win that fifth set against Hewitt. He's going to be really winded, so he's going to play Djokovic. I like Djokovic in that one. Murray plays Stan Wawrinka, which I think is a great win for him, beating Burdick. I thought Burdick was going to make that semifinal, quarterfinal actually. I thought Burdick was going to make it, but Wawrinka played really well the other night and beat him in 4 sets. Nadal plays Robredo. Nadal looks as good as everyone else. Nadal's still my pick to win this thing, but he's going to play. I think he's going to play Djokovic, to be honest, in the final on Monday. Nadal's going to play Robredo, and Robredo's not going to go away. Robredo plays excellent defense, and Nadal's going to have his hands full. I mean, Robredo could beat him, but I don't see it happening. And then earlier today, Gasquet was up 2-0, and Ferrer came roaring back to win the third and fourth. And then Ferrer obviously is a very mentally tough player, but Ferrer ends up losing in 5. And the thing that I think cost Ferrer a little bit, it's unfortunate. His coach is usually in his box, like the coaches are in their box with for the players. His coach, unfortunately, could not be there. His dad passed away. His dad passed away, and he had to go back to Spain to be with him. And the thing about that, it's even the sadder part, is that Ferrer's coach is like a second father to him, so that relationship is really close.
Right.
And for his coach not to be there, it's kind of probably mentally inhibited him to maybe come back and win that fifth set. But great for Gasquet. I'm a huge fan of Gasquet. Been a huge fan of his since he was a kid. He's a great tennis player. He's got a wicked backhand, one of the best I've ever seen in the history of the game. He's actually made his first ever semifinal made at the U.S. Open, so he's got his hands full with Nadal. Darren Cahill, ESPN analyst, used to be a player and a coach for people like Leighton Hewitt and Andre Agassi. He said that he wouldn't be surprised if Gasquet beat Nadal. I mean, it's not a bad statement to make because the run that Gasquet is on, winning in 5 sets over Roundage, and and Ferrer, and he's got time to rest up. The men's semifinal, I believe, is on Saturday. They get a day to rest, so they play the final on Monday. Gasquet's got a good shot, but I just think Nadal's playing too good right now. He hasn't even got broken serve this whole entire tournament. But I honestly look for a Djokovic-Nadal final on Monday night, and that should be a great final to watch. And I see a repeat final in women's as well as Serena and Azarenka on Sunday. So.
All right, thank you for that good tennis coverage as always. Some football, college football scores. The first weekend is in and under wraps. Ohio State beats Buffalo 40-20. Texas A&M with one half of Johnny Manziel, who we'll talk about a little bit later on. They do beat Rice 52-31.
Rice.
Alabama takes care of Virginia Tech 35-10. There was a smackdown at Papa John's Cardinal Stadium, 49-7. Teddy Bridgewater has a great start to the season with 23 for 28 with 355 yards and 5 touchdowns. We'll talk about that in a minute.
Just a little impressive.
One interception, but
just a little.
It wasn't his fault.
That's true.
It really wasn't his fault. I'll admit if it's a quarterback's fault, but it was clear that the receiver ran the wrong route and he got picked off. But it is what it is.
Western Kentucky beats UK 35-26, which
kind of puts a kink in our prediction.
Not a good start.
Here's the thing about this game, and we're going to talk a little bit more about all this stuff in a minute, but I do want to talk about U of L last because that's clearly the headline. UK, here's the thing. Everybody talks about UK getting blown out this game. What, 35 minus 26?
9.
I mean, that's 9 points. It's not really a blowout.
But I believe they scored the last touchdown at the end of the game.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's one of those things, over-exaggeration in the local media and the national media, really. A blowout is what happened with U of L. This is not a blowout at all.
This seems like one of those games that U of L actually rooted for UK because people don't like Bobby Petrino.
Yeah, I honestly know several U of L fans that was rooting for UK.
Yeah.
I mean, it's what happened too. I know several U of L fans when he was coaching at Arkansas that went to Commonwealth Stadium dressed in red, to cheer on UK as U of L fans just because they don't like Bobby Petrino.
Right, I don't think anyone.
I think one thing to note to come out of this game, if I was a UK fan or if I was watching it close, I think Stoops made a big mistake in not starting Maxwell Smith. I think
he did too.
I think Maxwell Smith is clearly the better QB of the ones he has available.
He was the better quarterback last year,
yes. And for whatever reason, you decided to start Jalen Whitlow to start the game. He had a decent day, but Maxwell Smith was clearly much better. He threw that touchdown pass. He had way more passing yards. He was more accurate with the football. I think.
If he'd have played Maxwell Smith the entire game, I think they would have won this game.
I think they could have won this game definitely. They got who do they play this week?
School of the Blind. I think Texas School of the Blind, something like that.
I think they got another halfway decent opponent.
I don't think so.
I'm not sure.
School of the Blind.
But I mean, either way, I think Maxwell Smith is their starter from here on out.
Yeah, he should be.
One thing that I want to talk about Teddy Bridgewater here because he looked amazing. You and I had a discussion earlier off camera that I think was really good. People talking about something's kind of upset me, and I think the thing that kind of upset me kind of upset you a little bit after I told you about it. There have been several people saying that Teddy Bridgewater is the best player to come out of U of L, and to me that's slapping 3 particular players in the face, all with Super Bowl rings. Johnny Unitas, who has a Super Bowl ring, Deion Branch, who has a Super Bowl ring, and Klaus Wilmsmeyer, even though he was a kicker, he has a Super Bowl ring as well, all playing for University of Louisville. To me, it's one of those things that I don't think he's even close to being the best. I think he's in the top 5.
I think it's the term prisoner of the moment.
He's not even the top 3 though. And another thing that was made, and I want to get your particular thoughts on this, how he's a better quarterback than Johnny Manziel. I don't agree with that at all, but what I do agree with is I likened the comparison with Postmaster. I said I do believe, although Manziel's the better quarterback, Teddy Bridgewater's the better all-around person.
I agree with that. I think in terms of ability, I think Manziel is clearly better than Bridgewater. Yes. But in terms of the mental aspect of the game, Bridgewater's got him beat by a mile. A yard and a mile. I mean, again, I guess we'll kind of transition from Bridgewater to Manziel and go back and forth. What Manziel did on Saturday was completely disgusting. I can't stand this kid.
Actually, I'm not. I'm going to disagree with you, but I just want to go ahead. I think disgusting is a little bit strong of a word, but go ahead.
It doesn't seem like he cares because this is against Rice. So what he did, he got taken out of the game, and someone's definitely took him out because he was taunting, and he's just. I'm sorry to say this, but he's a spoiled brat. Manziel's a spoiled brat. It's just his attitude is completely turns me off. I don't like the way he carries himself on the field. Yeah, he's a great player, but he's got a horrible attitude. He makes stupid mistakes in the field. And again, this is against Rice, so it's not that big. But he does people because of what he did with the signing and did not get paid, and the kind of mindset that he has. People are going to get under his skin all year. Mm-hmm. And Rice, he can get away with it because Rice is not a very good school. They're not going to beat Texas A&M easily. They play Alabama. Alabama's going to do the up and down. If he gets riled up, he's going to get taken out of the game. It's going to cost the team the game. He needs to shut up, just play football, ignore what they're saying, just go out there and play because NFL people are watching him right now. Yeah. He's going to the draft of this season, I would think. And who's going to want him acting this way? I don't know. I have no idea who's going to want him.
I don't know who would want that headache.
I was telling him, people that are looking at quarterbacks, potentially Pittsburgh, Dallas, maybe the Giants, maybe Denver.
I disagree with Dallas. Denver maybe, Oakland for sure, and
Oakland's got a quarterback. They have
not a good one.
Well, I don't think they're going to add somebody else. I think they're going to try.
I definitely don't think after Dallas just gave Romo
I don't think they're going to sign someone to start right away. I think they're going to try to ease him into the transition. Dallas is one. Pittsburgh's another. Denver, maybe the Giants. Eli's not getting younger either. But he's got mental problems. It's something that's not right. He doesn't understand what he's doing wrong. He's 20 years old. He acts like a child, and it needs to stop. He needs to understand what he's doing on the field. Play football.
The thing is, I disagree completely. I guess we'll talk about Johnny Manziel now. I think that in a world where we're talking about Aaron Hernandez in football, when we're talking about the disgusting acts that he's committed ever since Florida, and now I can live with Johnny Manziel because let's be honest, violent behavior in football players is not going away, unfortunately.
No, of course not.
And I can deal. That's why I said disgusting is a little bit strong of a word. I will more than happy deal with the antics of Johnny Manziel than I would somebody going out and killing somebody, or someone going out and committing a violent crime, or God forbid raping somebody or whatever. Johnny Manziel is just a little immature. That's it.
He needs to grow up.
You know what?
Grow up.
Here's the thing. He's a 20-year-old college student. There is a common phrase in the world, and that is, there's a time and place for everything, and it's called college. Okay? I can deal with what Johnny Manziel does off the field. I can deal with that.
I can.
And the fact that he was mocking the NCAA, I think they deserve to be mocked. Who sits someone out for a half of a game?
Well, that was Texas. That was Texas A&M decision.
Whoever it was. That was the school's decision. It was absolutely absurd. I think it was the NCAA.
No, it was the decision of the school.
But it's one of those things that. Who decides to sit anyone else for a half of a game? That makes no sense to me. Now, I will say one thing. The one thing that I could agree with that he needs to shut up with is pointing out the scoreboard.
That's what got him benched.
That was a little bit absurd.
And you know what? I don't care for this when he scores. Give me a break, okay? This kid has never worked a day hard in his life because he was born with like $500 in his back pocket when he was born, okay? He's never worked a day hard in his life because his parents were rich when he was born. He never understood the concept of hard work. I get there's a time and place, but you know what? I think he thinks he's like the king of the world because he won the Heisman as a freshman. You know what?
That's what it is.
You're representing the school, and you're making the school look bad. Okay, this is affecting everybody, not just you. And the fact that he prances around with money in his hand, going to like Lakers games and hanging with LeBron James and signing autographs and all that stuff. I don't care for that either. This kid. He may be a great player, but the other stuff I don't care for. I really don't care for the other side of it, and I don't think teams are going to take. They're not. This isn't kindergarten when he goes to the NFL. They're not going to baby him. They're going to say, "Well, you know what? You cut that crap out, or we're not. You're going to be done. You understand where you're at. This is a golden opportunity. You screw it up, you're out of here."
And the one thing that's really upsetting me is people comparing him to Tebow. Like,
not even close.
What I don't understand is they're saying Manziel is like Tebow, except for Tebow has good character. Okay. Who cares? The thing that sickens me about this society that we live in is the fact that you cannot proclaim that you are a Christian without somebody putting you in some sort of bad category.
That's the world we live in.
And that is the fact. I mean, you can make fun of you can You make fun of a Muslim or a Jewish person or somebody else, you're a bad person. But you make fun of Christianity, hey, that's all for it. Let's do that. It sickens me, the fact that people make fun of Tebow, and the fact that Johnny Manziel's even spoken in the same breath with the name Tim Tebow. That is disgusting, and that is an embarrassment. And people who do that need to be ashamed of themselves, because there is nowhere close to the content of Tim Tebow's character and the content of Johnny Manziel's character. Tim Tebow has him by light years.
Yeah, of course.
And there's just no comparison at all. So, with that being said, I do want to circle back to Teddy Bridgewater. I think that it's going to be an amazing year to watch Teddy. You've got a potential for a Sugar Bowl berth and other things. And I think we are running up against the break. So when we get back here on Triple Threat Talk, we'll finish up talking about Teddy a little bit more. We'll get into the last little bit of headlines, and we'll do pick'ems right after this Triple Threat Talk. Don't go anywhere.
Winning a 6th championship might add to your legacy. But is it enough to make you a legend? Because there's a big difference between being the best driver of your generation and being the best driver ever.
And welcome back to Triple Threat Talk. I'm Gary, the Dr. Locker, joined as always by Big B, Brandon DeMuro, and Postmaster Jones, Mr. Jimmy Biggers. Is there any finishing touches you all want to put on Teddy Bridgewater before we head on to the next headline?
It's a shame that Louisville's schedule is so piss poor, to be honest. They don't play anybody at all. Unless the only factor here is if Cincinnati's somewhat decent and the last game of the season is somewhat competitive. Other than that, they don't play anybody. So, for Bridgewater to have a chance at the Heisman, he has to play lights out every single week. Louisville has to go undefeated, and he's still got a small chance to win the Heisman. I mean, you have Taj Boyd out of Clemson, J.D. Von Clowney out of South Carolina, Manziel, this new kid out of Florida State, Jameis Winston, who played phenomenal tonight. He went 25 of 27
for 356 yards, 4 TDs, and he had a running touchdown.
Yeah, and Florida State's recruiting, they lost
They
lost 9 starters, and they got a really good recruiting class down there. But that, Boyd, Bridgewater, Manziel, Clowney, and Winston, probably your Heisman people right now, I would think, at this point in time. But again, Bridgewater has to he can't just win, he has to really crush teams this year to really get noticed.
And I think that's why they left him in the game as long as they did.
So I think you're right.
If it was last year, they would have pulled him a lot sooner.
I agree.
I don't think they would have kept him in the game. I really do.
Oh, yeah.
I think
they've got to beat people. They've got to cream people.
Yeah,
and I know that's not Charlie's style.
No, he has to, and he knows he has to.
For them to get noticed,
He knows he's got to.
Louisville has to win and help people in front of them lose to get a chance. Yeah. We were talking about something earlier. We were kind of debating, is Bridgewater going to leave or is he going to stay? I think he might leave because this is his biggest time to maximize his potential. He's a Heisman candidate, one of the top quarterbacks in the country. Louisville's a good chance.
Top 10 program.
Top 10 program. Could get to a BCS Bowl if things fall in their way. Could go to a national championship if things go their way. So I think there's no better time for him to leave and go to the NFL to maximize his potential. As probably, more than likely, maybe the number 1, number 2 quarterback taken because of Manziel's off the field issue. So he could be taken first, Bridgewater. Again, we thought Matt Barkley was going to be taken first, and E.J. Maynard gets picked first this year. So we never know.
Well, Matt Barkley should have left last year.
Yeah,
he was an example of screwing up of staying. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't always work like that. Could he stay one more year? The reason why I told B he could stay another year is because he'd be moving to the ACC.
The thing I mentioned to you, which would be phenomenal.
Yeah,
Jameis Winston versus Teddy Bridgewater. Oh my God,
that would be an outstanding game for sure. B, like I said, you go to the ACC.
It's more competitive.
It's more competitive, so you can even show your skills even further. B, you get a chance with going to the ACC. You got a better shot to go into a better BCS game,
national championship,
because the ACC has a direct tie-in to the
Florida State
BCS. So you got Florida State, you got Miami. You don't have to play the schedule that you're playing this year. Yeah, they got stuck between a rock and a hard place. This is just one bad year. They're going to have to deal with it. Yeah. It does suck. I know. They're looking at their schedule, and if they play the way they played on Sunday every week. I see no reason why
They have to run the table.
Yeah, they have to run the table.
Period.
Because, and the only reason Ohio scored, it was the entire second string that was in when Ohio scored. The first string did not give up a single touchdown. Not one.
Here's the thing that really upset me when it came down to it. Everybody, and we talked about this off air as well. You brought this to my attention. I looked it up. People were actually picking Ohio to win this game.
Yes, they were. And
what universe?
Based on last year's performance, that they beat Penn State.
They beat Penn State in the bowl game, and they went 9-3 last year.
Penn State's got a whole.
They went like 9-3 and beat Penn State in a bowl game.
Penn State has a whole slew of issues that nobody knows about.
I'm saying, well, that's just absolutely absurd. This is by no means a tough game. Yeah. People were saying this was going to be a tough game. This was not going to be a tough game. You could have asked us this last week. I would have told you no contest here.
The only thing I can slightly, like a smidget, see why they would say that
is because the local media wanted to sound like it was a tougher game than it usually was.
That's not why. I think people are somewhat drawing some stuff from last year where they played teams they should have easily beaten, like in Ohio, and they struggled. They played North Carolina. They almost did. They lose to North Carolina? Did they beat?
No, they won barely.
There was games last year where they should have beaten teams easily and they lost. So it's maybe where they said that, but this is a different team this year. And the team that you're witnessing is a team that crushed Florida in the Sugar Bowl. That's the team you're watching. That's the team you're watching.
Yeah, and I think another thing too, to your point, why they thought it was going to be a tough game. It was they were 9-3 and they beat Penn State in a bowl game. Their quarterback was actually really good. He had a terrible game, but their quarterback was actually really good.
Bulls defense.
But I was listening to College Game Day on Saturday, and Mel Kiper was even saying, he was like, Ohio's good. They're going to give Louisville fits, and I think this is going to be a close one. And I'm thinking, wow. When Vegas has the odds at 20+ in a football game, that should tell you something. Mm-hmm. Vegas knows a lot more than what you think they know. Trust me. Yeah. They're not billionaires out there for no reason. No. They're not stupid. No. So, just real quick, my thought on Johnny Manziel. I'll just say this, like I've said about a lot of players. When he does go to the NFL, when and if he does go to the NFL, the crap's got to stop. Yeah. Because, like I've told you before, when you play in the pros, you get paid to play on the field and act like a pro, and you get paid to act like a pro off the field. Yep. And if Johnny Manziel doesn't learn that real quick, he's in for a rude awakening. And let me tell you something. I'm sure all, if not most, of all those NFL executives and GMs and the head coaches and team captains, like, guys that have been in the league, 10, 15 years or more, they're not going to put up with his crap. They're going to put him in his place. Yeah. Friggin' Patrick Willis is going to pin him up against the wall and smack him a few times and say, "Look here, buddy, you're not going to act like that."
Patrick Willis.
Could you imagine if he goes to, like, say, Pittsburgh and he's playing there and he acts that way against the Ravens? Oh my God, kill him! Dewar will throw him to the ground.
So you better straighten your act up, kid, because the rate you're going, you're not going to last long.
Here's the one thing also. What job would you rather have next year? Would you rather be Johnny Manziel's agent, or would you rather be a groundskeeper somewhere at a random football facility?
Be a groundskeeper. You used to outside in the sun. Catch some rays.
In other news, LeBron is to produce his own sitcom.
Epic.
On HBO, I think, right?
I actually didn't say where it was going to be. It just said he's in the works of producing his own sitcom about a nobody and an NBA star walking the streets together and their life and times and family.
It's the LeBron James Show, starring LeBron James.
He's not going to be in the show. He's just producing it.
It's not the LeBron James Show, starring LeBron James.
It's James Harden selling cheese for Foot Locker.
Yes.
Wow.
Stephen Curry.
It's just like... that Bubba Watson commercial, or that Ricky Fowler Sports Center is the funniest one I've seen in a long time.
This milk is spoiled.
This milk's bad. Before we get to our headline, Postmaster, take us through some NASCAR.
All right, last week on NASCAR racing in Atlanta, it was Kyle Busch picking up his his fourth win of the season, tying him with Jimmy Johnson for second most on the year with 4. They're both one behind Matt Kenseth, who has 5 wins on the year. For the third straight race in a row, Jimmy Johnson crashed So a little bad luck on the side of 048. Things are not going as well to plan. Also, it was announced today that Jeff Burton will be released from Richard Childress Racing, and it looks like making way for Ryan Newman, who was released by Stuart Haas Racing and replaced by Kevin Harvick, to go over there and sign with Richard Childress Racing. That has not been officially announced yet, but that seems to be what's going to happen. Also, this past Friday, Chip Ganassi announced that up-and-coming star phenom, as you saw on my Facebook page a couple weeks ago, the next big thing, who I talked to in India a couple weeks ago, Kyle Larson,
I think it's about Brock Lesnar,
will drive the number 42 Chip Ganassi car. So congratulations to Kyle there for sure. And also, this past Tuesday, my man Smoke finally made a public appearance. Big B, roll the clip if you would, please.
Hey everyone, Alan Cavana here with Tony Stewart. First time we've seen you since the accident. First and foremost, how are you doing?
Doing really well. It's a process that every couple days we're starting to see bigger improvements than the first couple weeks. So seems like the more that I'm able to get up and get around, now I'm getting my more strength and energy back, and then that just keeps multiplying to each day. So we definitely have a long way to go in this process. But, for only being 4 weeks into this, I'm starting to feel much better.
Yeah, a short time ago, we all saw video of the accident, and we've seen you in other crashes, plenty of them, but when did you know the severity of this one?
When I got my helmet off and couldn't understand why I couldn't necessarily feel my right leg, and it was numb, and I thought, well, maybe I just banged it into a part of the frame. And when I looked down, I realized why I couldn't feel it, and that it was a little bit more than just a common break. I'm not very good about looking at somebody's stitches or pictures of an injury, and the good thing is it keeps making progress, and the good thing is every time you see the differences every 2 or 3 days and then see the healing and not how much better it's looking, it makes that a lot easier.
One of the last times I'd seen you before that, it was the high of Eldora, everything that went on there, the success there, and then you had the low of this crash. How do you describe the summer you've had and dealing with it mentally, not just physically?
Well, it's definitely been a rough summer. We haven't had the year performance-wise on the racetrack that we're used to having and what we expect, and I went from being the busiest Cup driver on the schedule to all of a sudden being in bed 24/7 for the first 2 weeks. So this is just a scenario where, in life I feel like it's just kind of a bump in the road. I've raced for 35 years and only had one injury that even took me out of a race car. So on the positive side, if it had to happen, the timing of when it happened, was a positive thing. We don't see any problems with not being ready to go at Daytona, but it's not like we're going to have a month or two of extra time to get healed. It's gonna take all the way through the majority of January before we're ready to get back in a race car.
And we learned a lot today at your press conference. We learned you watch a lot of Oprah, and you learned how to use the internet. How good will it feel to be back at the track at Richmond this weekend?
I'm excited to be around our 3 teams. There's crew members and drivers from other teams that I'm going to be excited to go see, and a lot of NASCAR officials, and just being back at the track. It's hard to be cooped up in a room and not have a lot of mobility, and we're just now getting in the part where I can start getting out a little more. I've got a couple appearances coming up this weekend before we even go to Richmond. So work-wise, I'm excited to get back to work from the stuff that doesn't pertain to driving the race car. But a lot of fun to go see a lot of the fans on Thursday, Wednesday and Thursday, and then get back and hang out at the racetrack for a couple days.
It's good to see you here. Good to see you in good spirits, and you'll see him back at the track this weekend.
All right, just a little snippet of what's going on with Smoke. He kind of gave an update with his injury.
It'll be February, right?
What's that?
He'll be back in February?
Yeah, he said he'll be back in February. He's very, very hopeful he'll be back for the Daytona 500. And, in the clip, he talked about the injury. He said, he can't even look at it still without passing out.
Really? Yeah. I would imagine.
He gets the stitches out this week. I think he had like 90 plus staples removed last week. So it's been a tough road to hoe for Smoke, to say the least.
Smoke is still broke.
But I was glad to see him. You could tell he's lost some weight. And he even made a joke about that. He said, I guess I had to break something to lose weight, because people are always on me about my weight, and it took me to break something to lose weight. So he did kind of joke on himself there, which is, but he seemed to be in good spirits. The press conference lasted almost 2 hours.
Is Bob Practice there?
Yeah, Bob Practice was there, our good pal. Almost 2 hours because he said, anybody got any more questions? Because I don't want to go home and go back to bed. Because he's basically been home on bed rest.
Painkillers.
So, he talked about the wreck. And, things that happened. Yes.
You ought to ask him if he could be your +1 to the nuptials of Big B and Cody Rhodes. That's what if he's tired of being in bed.
Well, I thought about that, and I guess I should have put that in the Valentine's Day card. but I didn't think to do that.
By the way, did Colin wink back at you?
Oh, yeah. Colin winked back.
Did you get
your money's worth?
Yeah.
I was glad to, glad to get an update. It made me feel good to know that, he's up and about. And he will be at the track this week. He's going to come to the Richmond this weekend, Saturday night, the last race before the chase. And they asked him how he's going to get around the track. He said he's been using crutches a lot, but he's not going to use crutches at the track. He said he's got something special for the fans and everybody at home, and he said it was his ideal. So I can't wait to see
motor scooter.
Oh, speaking of that, this tells you how bummed out about racing and not being able to race he has been. He actually held a motor scooter race on the second floor of Stuart Haas Racing.
What in the world?
And he called it, I forget the name, it was the something 500, and he actually won, but it was pretty funny. So here he is in his motorized medical scooter racing around the top floor of Stuart Haas Racing. I'm sure his doctor loved that one.
It'd be like the episode of Seinfeld where George is driving the scooter trying to get away from everybody.
So good to hear from Smoke, and that's good stuff there for sure.
Henry, we already talked about our
big story.
Johnny Manziel. Enrique Stenson wins the Deutsche Bank Championship, the second leg. Ernie, some prominent names were eliminated, did not make the cut. Ernie Els among them.
Back in the Deutsch?
Yes.
And before we get into NFL Pick'em, some NFL news did break today, although I totally agree with Colin. I was about to say Kaepernick, because now you got me thinking about Colin Kaepernick. Colin Cowherd. Geno Smith will be starting for the Jets now, which, to me is not breaking news. It's common sense. Colin Cowherd had a very, very humorous segment. They did SportsCenter Express and said, breaking news, he's going to be starting for the New York Jets. Colin starts the show. The first thing he says is, our society today devalues the amount of breaking news it is today. He said, I'm going to take a shot at ESPN here. It's like when you get on the news. Breaking news, there's a snow flurry coming out, or breaking news, on the west end of town, we've got a traffic jam.
Oh,
he's like,
here, weather is just ridiculous.
Breaking news today, he said, breaking news today, Geno Smith being put on as the starting for the Jets. He said, breaking news would have been Alex Smith starting. There's a trade involved. Alex Smith,
our Graham Harrell.
And he said Tony Romo starting for the Jets. That would have been breaking news. But he said, Geno Smith, we knew this was happening. He said, if I don't watch myself here in a second, I'm going to get an executive call me and say, are you making fun of us? Are you mocking us on air? And he said, I'm going to have to say yes. Yes, I'm mocking you on air. So I thought it was pretty funny.
Right. This is kind of breaking news. No longer Tool time in Buffalo.
EJ Manuel will be the starter for the Bills. Game 1 against the Patriots. Good luck with that, EJ Manuel.
Yep. Well, and that is headlines for the day.
That's headlines.
Headlines. A lot to get through.
So much for Tool time.
Yep.
It lasted a week, and that's as far as it's going to go.
Yep. So with that, we'll take a quick break. And when we come back,
get ready to dig.
It's time. It's that time of year. NFL Pick'ems starts next here on Triple Threat Talk. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere.
Eli, who are you talking to?
I'm not talking. I'm watching football.
Watching football?
Yeah, with DirectTV NFL Sunday Ticket Max, you can watch every game every Sunday afternoon on any device, like your computer, tablet, or phone.
Football? On your phone?
Football on your phone.
It's football on your phone. It's football on your phone.
It's football on your phone, that's what I said.
It's football on your phone, you can watch it in bed.
Take it with you wherever you go.
Show your friends and watch them all day. Here's your chance
to have football on your phone and football in your pants.
Look at this guy using his phone as a phone.
Your phone ain't for calling,
your phone's for footballing.
It's football on your phone.
Yeah.
It's football on your phone.
Let me ask you a question. What do you get when a football gets down with your phone?
It's football on your phone.
Yeah.
It's football on your phone.
If you're on a date with Simone,
football on your phone.
if you're taking out a small loan,
Football on your phone.
when you're sitting on your throne,
Football on your phone.
when you're buttering a scone,
Football on your phone. It's like I spilled milk all over your blouse by accident or on purpose. It's like the milk is like football and your blouse is the phone.
It's football on your phone. It's
yeah.
football on your phone.
Football on your phone means football all the time.
Do you want that?
He does, she does, our dad does.
Does your dad want it? I mean,
It's football on your phone.
yeah.
What do you think Alexander Graham Bell would say if he saw you watching football on your phone?
Who cares? Dude's dead.
It's football on your phone.
Yeah. Get NFL Sunday Ticket.
Only on DirectTV. Yeah.
And welcome back here on Triple Threat Talk. It's that time of year again. Week 1 NFL Pick'ems.
Before we get into it,
Yes.
we were discussing on the break, we were discussing playlist songs at the upcoming wedding. It's Raining Men will be a selection.
Yeah, YMCA.
YMCA is going to be on there. What other songs do we, I think
for Big B, we could play Macho Man. Macho Man.
I Will Always Love You was a prominent selection.
I think the theme of Titanic was even a suggestion.
Right, yeah. And there was another song, I think it was Who Let the Dogs Out?
Yeah, Who Let the Dogs Out? Well, I don't know why he picked that.
I don't know why he put that one.
That was his idea.
It was his idea, so. But yeah, it sounds like it's going to be a very, very romantic time. Some nights, by Fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be a selection. So.
And apparently for his first dance, he wants to dance the Dancing Queen. See that girl? What's that dancing queen?
It's sad though. It's really sad because every single week I tweet this out. I send it to ESPN, Yahoo Sports Radio, Mike and Mike, and this is what we give them. It's quality at its finest.
It is quality.
And it's at its absolute finest, I tell you.
It is.
All right.
Get out of business, shall we?
But before we get into pick'ems, I find myself in an unusual predicament that I have to defend something that I did. I myself, the doctor, have caught a little bit of backlash when I tell people that the Browns are coming out of the AFC. So instead of just predicting it, I'm going to give a little bit of backup.
Before you give a backup, let me just clarify. The football special was just coming out this weekend. You picked the Browns to go to the playoffs, did you not?
Right, yes.
What was the record? Do you remember?
I can't remember what
was
I had.
9-7 or 10-6?
I think it was 9-7.
So
it might have been 8-8.
So now to really back up your notion, you have to pick them at least 8 or 9 times.
Okay. Now, but of course that can always change.
Right.
But based on the quality of play.
Right. If they get hurt or anything. Yeah.
So here's the way I ration this out, and I didn't quite say it this way on the football special, so this is nothing new.
Right.
Out of the AFC East, okay, you're gonna have the Patriots. All right, you're gonna have New England. That's runaway. Okay. Out of the West, you're gonna have Denver. That's a runaway. I'm not gonna spoil your surprise. What you said. I'm not gonna spoil that.
Nope.
But in my eyes, you're gonna have Denver runaway. Nobody else. All right. So that leaves two divisions.
What about Oakland?
Yeah, Oakland. Yeah. No. So that leaves you with the AFC South. Okay. To me, and this is on the show that I picked. You have the Texans. And you have the Colts.
And we can differ who's going to win.
It doesn't matter.
It's kind of like the NFC West.
And then the other thing is the AFC North, all right? That's where the Browns lay. You have the Bengals that are going to win that division in my eyes because in my eyes, Pittsburgh is way too old and Baltimore lost way too much personnel.
I agree.
So that leaves, by default, when you look at all the pictures, when you look at the picture painted, by default that leaves the Browns coming out of the AFC North. By default, to me, in my eyes. So that's the way I ration that out. So anybody who doesn't agree, that's fine, but that is scientific reasoning.
So 3 minutes of the doc ration.
Thank you.
Let's more rationalize about what playlist we're playing.
Well, we can keep going.
Yeah, we can keep going.
We have several hours to fill when it comes to your
That's
session.
right. There's even a rehearsal.
Yeah, there's a rehearsal. So we have
Isn't
a
that
lot of
Connections?
music.
Isn't the rehearsal at Connections?
You know, you forgot to realize the fact that you weren't invited.
No. Because it's a closed ceremony.
You know what? I hate to tell you,
Wedding crashes.
but we're the ones that made this party.
Yeah.
We're putting on your party.
We're putting on your party. We're funding it. So
Yeah,
we're
so
invited.
we're invited.
Says I have to show up.
Oh, you'll be there.
You'll be there if we had to kidnap you.
You'll be there.
Kidnapping?
We have to
What is this?
Tie you up, put you in a bag, and bring you there.
He might enjoy that.
Yeah, he might.
Him and Cody play that on a nightly basis.
I think so. They play Cowboys and Indians.
No, Cowboys and Redskins.
Brokeback Roads.
Hide the rainbow roll.
Cheese and crackers.
Broncos and Ravens.
All right,
Tonight.
Kickoff tonight. Ravens and Broncos. Technically a home game for the Ravens, but because of scheduling conflict with the Orioles, this is a
home game for the Broncos.
Yes.
Big B or Doc.
Big B or Doc.
Oh, Top Dino goes last, fellas.
No, you go first.
Oh, do I go first?
Yes.
I thought I went last. Okay.
Who the hell knows?
Broncos.
The defense for Denver isn't as good as it needs to be because Von Miller's out for 6 games, but
That's right, I do go first.
in a sense of a shootout, I picked Peyton over Joe. I picked the Broncos as well.
I'll take the Broncos. The Patriots at the Bills.
We even need to ask the Patriots.
I'm definitely going to want to see how EJ Manuel plays in his first regular season game, but that being said, he's going to lose, so I picked the Patriots too.
I'll pick the Patriots. The Titans at the Steelers.
As old as the Steelers are, I still think that they, even in their geriatric state, they can be more than they can take out the Titans.
You want the wife to come whip your head.
In order to do that, she's going to have to look me in my eyes and tell me I'm wrong about their age.
We're not that old.
Taking place at AARP Field. If they were playing in Tennessee, I might pick the Titans, but because they're in Heinz Ketchup Field, I pick the Steelers.
Pick the Steelers as well. So we're all in agreement so far. Falcons at Saints.
This is a tough one just because it's at the Saints. It makes it going to be a little bit closer. I still look for a little bit of coach rust from Sean Payton. And the fact of the matter is the Falcons were amazing last year. It took the 49ers to stop their run, and I think that's what it's going to take this year, the 49ers or the Seahawks, one of the two. I'm picking the Falcons.
The Falcons were the best regular season team last year. No one can touch them in the regular season. This is, again, I agree with the doctor. This is a tough game because it's in New Orleans, but New Orleans still doesn't have a defense. I think one of the defenders out for 9 weeks, so that hurts them on defense. I picked the Falcons. Falcons have too much weapons to the Saints to beat them.
I picked the Falcons as well. And now,
oh good lord,
toilet bowl.
The first week Triple Threat Talk Toilet Bowl game of the week. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers
take on the other team from New York.
Take on the other team in New York.
Whatever.
Not named the Giants.
I think this is going to be an interesting game for one reason. No, not even that. The fact that 0-16 starts here for the Jets. I'm taking the Bucs.
One aspect of this game that I don't think people are really analyzing enough, I think they are, but not enough, is that Revis is on the other side of the ball for the Bucs. He knows exactly what that offense is going to run. He knows exactly the plays they're kind of going to throw at him. He's going to be able to tell his defenders what's going on. Geno Smith has got a tough task at him. The Bucs have a pretty decent defense, and they have a pretty good passing game with Freeman to Vincent Jackson. And Doug Martin's absolutely incredibly good. I picked the Bucs as well.
I picked the B-U-C-S Bucks.
No one does that one. B-U-C-S Bucks.
The Chiefs of Kansas City with new coach Andy Reid.
Alex Smith.
Go to Jacksonville to take on the Jags.
Picking the Chiefs.
Good opener for Jacksonville. See what Gus Bradley does, but I like the Chiefs myself.
I like the Chiefs, and if we keep this up, everybody's going to be a top dino by the end of the week. The Seahawks go all the way across country to see Cam Newton and the Carolina Panthers.
I'm taking the Hawks. and a wash.
They played this game last year in Carolina. They struggled a little bit, but I think they're going to get
a wash.
They're
Really?
going to get off to a hot start. I'm a little worried about this team, Carolina, a little bit because Luke Kitchley in the middle linebacker position. He's a fantastic player, but I think the Seahawks open the season with a W. I pick Seattle.
I pick Seattle, but I don't think it's going to be a wash.
I don't either. I say maybe 10 by 10, maybe.
The Cincinnati Bengals go on the road to take on Jay Cutler and the Chicago Bears.
This is a tough one. The only reason that I might even pick the Bears here is the fact that it's at home. The Bengals are absolutely incredible.
Some people Super Bowl pick is the Bengals to go all the way.
You know what? This defense does look pretty rough, and I know Cutler is going to be so rusty because how he played last year. It's going to be first game of the season.
Yeah, pretty much, baby.
Yeah. I'm going to pick the Bengals. I am going to pick the Bengals.
I think Mark Trestman as a new coach is a good move. They got a lot of offensive line help in the draft, which is the biggest issue the Bears have had in the recent years for the Bears. They're playing at home. I like the Bears in this one. I picked the Bears. First difference so far. B or B?
I think
to be or not to be.
I think this is the second toughest game.
To be or not to be.
This is probably the second toughest game, besides one a little bit later on. I can flip a coin here. I think this is a.
This is going to be a great game.
I'm flipping a coin. Here we go.
I'm not flipping for proverbial.
No, I'm flipping a coin because I'm
time killer here.
Huh?
Time killer.
I am flipping the coin here. Here we go. Heads. So you see it.
All right.
Heads
the Bears.
is the Bears. Tails is the Bengals.
All right.
Doesn't count.
Gotta do it again. Hold on.
No. Tails.
Bengals.
That was the worst flip ever.
Alright, so you'll be the only one that differentiates. You could take the lead on that game. Very well possible. The Miami Dolphins at the Cleveland Browns.
No surprise here. I'm going with the Brownies.
I picked the Dolphins. I think Tannehill to Mike Wallace is going to be a great tandem this year, and I think in this game you're going to see a little bit. I picked the Dolphins.
I'm kind of surprised Big B didn't pick the Browns here just because he likes the song "Who Let the Dogs Out" and they're playing in the Dog Pound. But I like the Docs pick. They're at home, and that team is going to be loud. The crowd is going to be loud and rowdy and ready to go. And I picked the Browns here.
The Browns.
The Minnesota Vikings at the Detroit Lions.
Just because. Here's one reason. Here's one aspect. The only aspect you're going to hear me refer to preseason. Because Christian Ponder did not have the best preseason. Only because of that reason, I'm picking the Lions.
I picked the Lions as well at home. I don't know how the Vikings did what they did last year. They didn't have a competent quarterback. I don't think Ponder's that great. Adrian Peterson's the only amount of offense they have. Even though they have Greg Jennings on offense, he's only someone to throw him the ball, and I don't think Ponder's going to be that great this year, so I picked the Lions.
I picked the Lions.
Mike. This is probably the wallop of the week.
The Oakland Raiders go to Lucas Oil Stadium to take on Andrew Luck and the Indianapolis
This is the perfect time
Colts.
so they're going to the drum. Oh my God.
I pick the Colts and a pretty close. I'm kidding. Colts in a wash.
Oh my.
This might be a wallop. This might be the wallop of the week.
Terrell Pryor playing as quarterback. They could be playing in Indy. They could be playing on the moon. I picked the Colts in a wash.
The Colts will win and it'll be over at halftime.
Who's their backup? Who's their backup, the Colts?
I don't know.
They might put him in.
They might put him in.
Put in Chuck Pagano.
Probably the hardest game of the week. And the best game of the week by far. Bar none.
Afternoon game on Sunday.
Other than the game tonight. The game
How
tonight.
this game was not Sunday or Monday Night Football.
Well, it's because Sunday night because it's divisional. That's why.
It still doesn't matter to me.
The Green Bay Packers go on the road to Candlestick for the last time to take on Colin Kaepernick and the Super Bowl runner-ups, the San Francisco 49ers.
People are saying the Packers are going to run away with this game. I don't understand how they're saying that at all. You've got home opener in the last season that they're at Candlestick. You have a phenomenal team returning to San Francisco. There is just absolutely that. Could the Packers win? Absolutely.
Got a new target now, Quan Bolden.
Yeah, was one of those things. I just don't see how people are saying the Packers are going to run away with it. I am picking the 49ers.
I like Aaron Rodgers. I think the Packers are looking to really start the season off really well. It's going to be a competitive game because the aspect of the read option for Kaepernick and the run game and the defense. But I picked the Packers. I think Rodgers is just too good at the moment. I picked the Packers.
So Big B again.
You are aware that the Niners beat them last year at Lambeau, right?
I'm aware.
Twice.
I'm aware, but I think Aaron Rodgers is.
I just wanted to throw that out there.
I know. I'm just saying.
All right.
I take the Niners.
The Niners.
The Arizona Cardinals.
New look.
Versus the St. Louis Rams.
New look for Cardinals. Bruce Arians is coach. Carson Palmer quarterback. Fitzgerald needs someone to throw him the ball.
Carson Palmer is better than anything he's ever had, other than Kurt Warner.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Kurt Warner's leaps and bounds better.
Kurt Warner was pretty good.
Kurt Warner leaps and bounds better than Carson Palmer. I picked the Rams though.
I picked the Rams as well.
The Lambs.
How this game of Sunday Night Football blows my mind.
Division.
I don't care if it's division. It has no business.
The second biggest rivalry in the fucking sport right now.
I don't care.
Besides us.
I don't care. It should have been the Dolphins. It should have been the Packers and the 49ers. And that's not me being a grudge. That's just the truth.
So who do you pick?
I'm picking in this one. I'm picking the Giants. I don't see how the Cowboys had this miracle season.
I'm picking the Cowboys just because they're at home. They're in Jerry World. I think Ramona Bryant's going to be an interesting thing to watch. I picked the Cowboys.
You can't spell elite without Eli. And that's why I take the Giants. And with that, we'll take a break. We'll come back. We've got 2 games left to pick, and we'll get into wrestling right after this. Don't go anywhere.
IWU Louisville knows business. Not only did I earn my graduate degree, but I experienced a well-rounded education that benefits me my entire life.
The enrollment experience here is fantastic. They fit it around my schedule. They know I'm working. They know I have a family. They really took an interest in my goals here at IWU. IWU knows business.
Indiana Wesleyan University, Louisville. Change your life, change your world.
And welcome back here on Triple Threat Talk. Postmaster Jones, Jimmy Biggers, the Doc, the 2-time and defending top dyno champion of the world, and Big B, Brandon Rhodes. So,
is it going to be Cody DeMuro or Brandon Rhodes?
Yeah, go undecided. Or is it going to be Rhodes DeMuro or DeMuro?
Yeah,
Rhodes?
Is it going to be Rhodes?
I kind of like Rhodes DeMuro.
You know what's going to be? It's going to let's get back to pick'ems.
Cody Rhodes DeMuro, it is. That's the one that touched the nerve. So Cody Rhodes DeMuro.
Let's get back to pick'ems.
So we got a double dip of Monday Night Football.
One's good and one's yeah.
We got 2 scoops for the price of 1. And luckily, the first scoop is better than the second scoop.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good thing this is the late game because we can all fall asleep.
Yeah.
Or watch Raw. The Philadelphia Eagles go to Washington to take on Robert Griffin III.
I'm picking the Redskins.
Whoa.
And the Washington Redskins.
Thank you. I'm picking the Redskins in this one. The Eagles. It's going to be interesting to see what they've done. I'm very interested in this game because I'm anxious to see what this team looks like.
Hopefully the field's in somewhat great condition, that's for sure. It's different because this offense is completely changed with Chip Kelly and Vic at the helm. Will they use Michelle McCoy? I hope so because he's there and they need to use him.
One of their weapons.
They didn't use him last year and we were like, is Deshaun McCoy even
4-0 when he has 20 or more touches?
Is Deshaun McCoy even on the team anymore? I think Deshaun Jackson could have a big year if they really utilize him in the offense. I just picked the Redskins because they're home, but this is the first time RG3's going to touch the ball this year. We'll see how that knee holds up. The thing I'm worried about is if someone comes off that end on the Eagles and they hit him and he takes a hit, there could be a huge concern in Washington after this game.
It's Kirk, I'm not your second cousin's time, if that's the case. Everything about this game screams for me to pick the Eagles, but I wouldn't pick the Eagles if they were the last team in the NFL, so I'm going with the Redskins.
What if the Eagles were playing the Jaguars? Or the Jets?
I'd probably still pick the Jaguars or the Jets.
You're absolutely crazy. The Jets couldn't beat
the final game of Week 1, and what a nice way to lull us to sleep.
This is where the Packers-Niners could have been.
This could be another wallop.
This might be another wallop of the week.
This is the AFC.
The NFL really screwed up Week 1.
Oh,
they really did.
There's 2 AFC wallops, both in the AFC South and the West.
Both are in the South, yeah.
The Texans, Colts, and Chargers, Raiders.
The Texans against the Chargers.
I'm picking the Texans.
Oh, boy.
Really? Is this a tough game for you to pick?
I'm just saying something here. This game could be over at the end of the end of halftime. We'll see how Manti Te'o does in his debut. We'll see if he tackles the right person or not. See if he tackles someone that's not really there. Maybe his girlfriend's there and she's running around wild and he wants to calm her down.
Maybe he'll go to wave to her and he'll fall down.
It could be. This Chargers team is just so pathetically bad. I mean, in the beginning when they had Rivers, he was a very good quarterback, but he just regressed in the last couple of years. A lot of turnovers. This team doesn't have a lot of weapons. They only have Antonio Gates. They have Robert Meacham from the Saints. That's the kind of he went to the Saints. I apologize. He went to the Saints. He was on the Chargers. The Texans just have too much firepower. Arian Foster, Matt Schwab, Andre Johnson on defense, J.J. Watt, Brian Cushing. They have too much. Texans. I think Texans will make maybe like 20 points.
They can be playing in San Diego.
Taking my thumb.
They can be playing in Houston. Kind of funny, actually. And they can be playing on the moon.
Houston, we have a problem. It's not the Chargers, that's for sure.
I picked the Texans by 3 touchdowns.
Who's their backup? T.J. Yates put in it.
Put T.J. Yates in. It's going to be ugly.
Remember when Cody Rhodes was your imaginary boyfriend? And I'm so proud because you've seen this relationship through. You're going to be getting married next week. It's going to be fantastic. We're really pulling behind you, and so is Cody.
So
I feel like I'm watching a Ryback match.
So with that's Pick'ems. Should be quite interesting after this week because me and the doc picked every game the same, which is unusual. And Big B
could go up.
Could go up. He picked the Bears and the Bears-Bengals matchup, the Dolphins and the Dolphins-Browns matchup, the Packers in the Packers-49ers matchup, and he also picked the Cowboys and the Giants-Cowboys
The one
matchup.
game that I'm kind of iffy about is Packers-Niners. That could go either way. The other ones I'm pretty confident that's what's going to happen.
Well, we've seen how you're pretty confident has worked in
I'll say this much. Cowboys-Giants, I go either way because they're both good teams. Right. Niners, I can go either way. Mm-hmm. I don't believe in the Browns, and I think the Bears at home is a better pick.
I still don't see how you don't believe in the Browns. They get some.
They have
got phenomenal pickups.
Where?
In the offseason.
Where?
Who's everywhere?
Who is Brandon Weeden throwing to? Name 2 receivers. Name 2.
It doesn't matter.
Name 2.
It doesn't matter.
If this is a team you're putting your money on to win the playoffs, name me 2 receivers.
All I'm saying,
name me 2 receivers.
He's got you.
If this is a team you're following and your team you're going to pick up, name me 2 receivers.
Bring up their.
No, it doesn't count.
I'm not bringing up the roster. See if you can name. No, I don't want you to.
I don't know the 2 receivers.
Then that's not.
Trent Richardson and
that's a running back.
He's a running back.
Exactly. No, that's what I'm saying. Trent Richardson is enough of power.
That's a load of garbage. That's a load of garbage.
Are you serious?
You know I like Trent Richardson, but he is not enough. He needs to throw the ball. And you
know Weeden are enough.
Who's he throwing the ball to?
Gary Barnidge.
Who?
Gary Barnidge. He was a tight end for UNL.
Oh boy.
He has let's see, Jasper Collins. Okay. He doesn't even have his photo available. Josh
Cooper.
Nobody. Greg Little is his one target, basically.
Greg, not so little.
Greg Little is his
Give
target.
me a break.
Josh Cooper
Greg Little.
The Browns. Yeah. I mean, more power to you to pick them, but he has no one to throw to. He has nobody to throw to. He might as well throw
Devon Best.
You know who's going to...
That's a good target. Devon Best.
He's going to throw it to the Browns? He's going to throw the defense to the Dolphins. That's what he's going to do.
So he's going to throw it to...
He's going to throw it to Deion Jordan as an interception. Watch. Again, he had to look it up. This is a team you're backing.
I'm just saying.
He does have you here, fellas. I don't agree with him often, but let me just say the fact that you didn't know any wide receivers in your
neither did you. Nobody knew.
I'm not backing this. I know the Chiefs.
I'm not backing them the way you are. I picked them this week.
I'm just saying the fact of the matter is, when you look at process of elimination and what is going elsewhere in the AFC, that was my sole reason for picking them. It wasn't because of talent. It's because of who else is going to come out? Who's going to get that second playoff spot?
Let's clarify here, though. If you look at the AFC North, if you look at that, okay, you love the Bengals. Right. Okay, most people love the Bengals. Okay, the Ravens lost everybody. Right. They're a completely new team. All right.
I have no faith in the Steelers.
You don't like the Steelers, so you wouldn't pick them even if they were the best team in the NFL.
Years ago.
So that throws that out. So you're picking Cleveland on a bad reason.
And the fact
I agree.
Okay. Last year when I picked the Vikings, I got the same criticism. And did they make
the Vikings have talent though?
Yes, the Vikings
they had Percy Harvin. They had Adrian Peterson. They had
Jared Allen.
They had Antoine.
Did not make the playoffs.
They have more talent in one player than the Browns have in their whole team.
Yes.
Adrian Peterson is more talented than the whole team put together. He is more talented than everybody on that team. Everybody.
Adrian Peterson is 20 times better than Trent Richardson.
All I'm saying,
Christian Potter's better than Brandon Whedon. Not by much, but he is.
I disagree with that completely.
Okay.
I do.
I agree. I'm sorry, fella. He's got you here.
We'll see.
But I'm just saying.
I'll let week 1 speak for
I
me.
know. I'll throw a little spoiler out there. In the football special, I went for the Chiefs in the AFC West to make the ball. I know their team. I know they have Dwayne Bowe. I know they have Alex Smith throwing the ball. I know they have Jamal Charles. They have a good tight end. They have a good defense. Brandon Flowers. They have a team. I know the team. I pay attention to them.
All I'm saying is the fact of the matter is, when it comes to the AFC West, Dwayne Bowe is going to get double covered. You don't understand that that's what's going to happen because he's their only threat out of that team.
That's fine.
Jamal Charles can't run the ball the entire time.
That's fine. If he's double covered, then someone's got to be open. And
Maybe.
Alex Smith is going to get it.
Unless they pull one out of the box.
This is not Matt Castle. This is not Brady Quinn. This is Alex Smith.
Alex Smith, who's very good.
Yeah.
And
you have Andy Reid, who knows how to coach.
Okay.
I'm just saying. I know my pick. You clearly don't know yours.
Okay.
You clearly don't know yours.
All right. That's all I'm going to say.
Clearly.
All right. I like it. Arguments abound.
I'm saying the Browns are going
I picked the Browns this week, but that doesn't mean I'm backing
No,
them.
of course not.
But he did say they would make the playoffs.
Right.
But I agree with Big B in the sense of you couldn't even name a wide receiver on the team, but yet you were screaming that the
wide receivers. We've seen defenses win championships.
They don't have a defense either. The Browns, I don't get it. The Browns.
Let's move on.
I feel bad for the Browns fans because they have nothing to lift. They had a chance to go RG3 in the draft and they did something else.
They screwed up.
So that is true.
They don't want to win. They don't. Doesn't seem like it. It doesn't seem like it.
They're the Houston Astros of the NFL. Have you seen the profit they turned this year?
$99 million.
$99 million in profit.
Wow.
They have a $12 million payroll, I think. It's ridiculous. They've turned $99 million in profit.
That's probably the amount of errors they have, too.
That's insane. So that's Pick'ems this week. Sometimes, things just get a little exciting around here, but that's all right.
Exciting is good.
Exciting is good. It makes for good TV.
It does. It makes good TV.
Because if we were watching Ryback, we'd all be asleep.
Yeah.
Do we need to go take a break and grab the computer?
No, we'll throw to Brian Ken, then we'll take a break. Okay. Well, yeah.
So now we'll head to wrestling coverage. I know we had a long sports coverage this week.
Football's back. It's going to happen, people.
Yep. So with that, we'll tune into our good pal in the other studios across the way, Mr. Brian Cannon, with his weekly OVW report and some other odds and ends for sure. Take it away, Mr. Cannon.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of OVW Mania here on Triple Threat Talk. I'm Brian Cannon, as always, here to bring you the latest coverage of Ohio Valley Wrestling. And we're going to dive right into last week's episode, which was number 732. Now, I normally don't go over dark match results, but I did want to point out one of the dark matches from last week featured a former TNA gut check competitor, and Evan Markopoulos. He lost to Dylan Bostic, but it looks like he'll be around for a little bit because he will face Dylan Bostic once again, as well as Aaron Sky, and with the billing as a triple threat match of the Young Guns of OVW on next week's episode. So, for more dark match results and more detailed results, you can always check out ovwmania.blogspot.com, but I did want to point that out. The main show itself started off with the Miss OVW contest. It was a tug of war. And Lovely Lala actually looked pretty good in it until Lady Tapa took over, of course. Tapa shoved the Blossoms out of the way, who are still arguing and can't get on the same page. And then Tapa and Trina were tugging, and Tapa ended up attacking Trina, wrapping the tug-of-war rope around her neck and throwing her out of the ring with it. So Tapa finally got the better of Trina after weeks of Trina laying Lady Tapa out. In the back, we see Nick Dumire still wanting to become a part of the Marauders, which Shiloh says there's no room for losers, and him and Raul and Flash all hit him as they leave the room. And then the camera pans over to Timmy Danger and Eddie Diamond. Eddie looks at Timmy and says he's tore up from the floor up, and he doesn't have to compete or whatever. But Danger says that they've got a chance for the Nightmare Cup. They don't know who they're fighting. They just know that they're facing two opponents that have never teamed up before. So they make their way out to the ring, and then their opponents are an impressive combination of the Welsh Colossus Rob Terry and the strongest gamer alive Marcus Anthony, who basically annihilate Eddie Diamond for most of the match. Timmy Danger tags himself in, and Rob Terry power slams him and gets the victory. So the team of Rob Terry and Marcus Anthony are now in the Nightmare Cup. Jay Bradley takes on Clint Poe and defeats him with Jamin's standing O. And he said that Jamin can put the boom sleeve, the loaded boom sleeve on a 10-foot pole at SNS, but he just proved that he's more than a one-trick pony and can defeat Jamin in other ways. Of course, Jamin comes out and he says that he'll prove something to him later tonight. In the back, the mobile homers are talking about missing out on the Nightmare Cup as Randy Royal searches for Tony Gunn, knowing that he has to be somewhere at the arena. He thinks he might have walked up on the locker room that Tony Gunn is in, but the door opens and outwalks the assassin, and then the camera pans down to see the body guy has been laid out once again. And then Rudy's walking down the hallway, and Jesse Goddard approaches him all excitedly that they're tag teaming once again, and that the best team ever is back together. And Rudy kind of looks at him strange and said he'd never said anything about teaming again, but it looks like that'll happen later in the show. TV title was on the line as Flash defended against Paradise. Paradise was on a roll until Shiloh and Raul came out of the curtain beating up Nick Dumeyer, which distracted him. Flash was able to, of course, get the kendo stick once again and hit Paradise over the head. Referee Chris Sharp actually counted the 3, but then reversed the decision because he saw the kendo stick in the ring. And Paradise wins the match by disqualification, but of course that means Flash is still the TV champion. In the back, Dumeyer says, look, I still want to be a part of your all's group, and I just helped you all win, even though he got beat up. And Shiloh says, well, maybe you can help with something, and they throw their gear on him and tell him basically to wash it and kind of be their servant. So we had that happen. And then another Nightmare Cup match. It was double platinum, Ryan Howe and Rockstar Spud taking on Jesse Goddard and Rudy Switchblade. Jesse comes out by himself at first, and it takes the music a second time to play before Rudy finally comes out. Once the match gets underway, Rudy and Jesse are clicking. They're on the same page. Almost a squash over the team of Ryan Howe and Rockstar Spud. They hit the best finisher ever for the victory. And then after the match, Rudy takes off his first set of tights to reveal that he's got a matching set of BTE, Best Team Ever tights. And they say they are back together, and they are now also in the Nightmare Cup. So that means in the Nightmare Cup, I guess this is going to continue on next week's episode and then maybe finish up with the Saturday Night Special. But the 4 teams that are in it are the OVW Southern Tag Team Champions, Muhammad Ali Vaez and Michael Hayes, the Best Team Ever, Jesse Goddard and Rudy Switchblade, Rob Terry and Marcus Anthony, and then Shiloh Jones and Joe Coleman of the Marauders. Then the show ends. No, it doesn't. There's still 2 more things. Jamin was facing Yaden Matthews, and it looked like he was about to do the boomstick to Yaden when Jay runs out and gives a boomstick of his own to Jamin Olivencia and lays him out. And then the final thing that happened was Tony Gunn coming out. He once again talks about putting his career on hold and all the things that happened between him and Randy Royal, and talking about how Randy betrayed him. Randy comes out and says that Tony Gunn's full of lies and said that he never had a career to put on hold to begin with. Gunn then says he wants a no disqualification match on next week's episode, which, Randy gets excited about and accepts, and then shoves Tony down. And then as Randy turns around to throw his hat in the corner, Tony Gunn pulls out a metal rod or metal piping of some sort and hits Randy in the stomach and then over across the back of the head with it to lay him out to end the show. So next week, you've got that match, the no disqualification match to look forward to. You've got that Young Guns triple threat match with Evan Markopoulos, Aaron Scott, and Dylan Bostic. Flash will be defending the TV title against Rockstar Spud. I guess there's going to be more on the Nightmare Cup. And Jamin and Jay will have one final encounter before the Saturday night special. So it should be a good episode to go over next week. That'll be number 733. And then also next week on here, I'll be talking about the September SNS. So I'm going to take a short break, and I'll be right back. Okay, so as I said, Saturday Night Special is coming up on Saturday, September 7th, bell time at 7:30. If you can make it down to the Davis Arena, it's going to be a great show. They always put on great shows, especially at the Saturday Night Specials. So what you can expect to see already is an OVW heavyweight title match where a loaded boom sleeve will be 10 foot high on a pole between Jamin Olivencia and Jay Bradley. Whoever retrieves the loaded boomstick can use it. And big stakes with the OVW heavyweight title on the line. The OVW women's title will also be on the line as Trina defends against Lady Tapa. And then I assume there will be more on the Nightmare Cup, whether it's the semifinals, finals, something like that. And then more matches I'm sure will be confirmed on next week's TV episode number 733, which I will be going over both of those, OVW TV 733 and SNS, on next week's edition of OVW Mania here on Triple Threat Talk. Now, speaking of good shows, OVW put on another good show called Old School. The second edition happened on Sunday, September 1st. The superstar Bill Dundee, wrestling legend, especially in the Memphis area, wrestled a lot at the Louisville Gardens. He was there. He got involved. To see what all happened, you can go to ovwmania.blogspot.com. There I've got the results for that. I've got results for all the TVs and SNSs. As I said earlier, that's where you've got dark match results, more detailed results on the TVs and SNS shows. And then, of course, this episode of Old School will probably be available pretty soon on demand. You can go to wwnlive.com or OVW Wrestling's website, ovwrestling.com. They now have a link on the top of their page where you can just click on demand to purchase it straight from there. OVW now has new television times as well. I mentioned last week that they were moving, at least for the next couple weeks, to 9 o'clock in the morning because WBNA Ion 21 was showing football games at noon. That is now a permanent change. So here's where you can find OVW on TV. If you're watching regular WBNA Ion 21, it's now Saturday mornings at 9 a.m. That is still Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. following WWE's main event. But now an additional time of Sunday evenings at 6 p.m. That you can view it on WBNA Ion 21. Now you can still, if you have antenna, you'd have to check your cable or local satellite providers if they also have this. But WBNA also has a channel on 21.4 called Retro TV, and you can still view, if you have that channel, still view OVW on Saturdays at 12 noon on that station. And then, of course, you can always view OVW online at either blip.tv or ovwrestling.com and watch it whenever you want, as long as you got a good internet connection. That about wraps it up for this edition of OVW Mania. Big thanks, as always, to Terry Bodie, who's always done real good about retweeting and plugging the website. Chris Sharp, who always retweets and shares my blog with all his followers on Twitter and Facebook. Big thanks to all the viewers out there. You know, I mention every week Chris Sharp and Terry Bodie for helping get the stuff out there, but for you all, the fans that are watching either Triple Threat Talk or logging on and viewing OVW Mania each and every week, a big thank you to you all for taking the time out to watch this every week. And then, of course, thanks to Triple Threat Talk for having me on, and I'll be sending it back to them in just a minute. Have a good week. Don't forget, next week I'll be going over OVW episode number 733 and the Saturday night special. Back to the studio, guys.
Good stuff with Brian as always.
All right, definitely good stuff.
Take a seat.
Take a seat.
I thought we were taking a break there.
Not yet.
We said we were taking a break.
tell you when we're taking a break.
Sit down.
All right.
Get that water bottle.
Put that down.
Put that down.
Fill it up.
Fill it up.
Open it up.
Open it up.
Whoa, put that back.
Put that back. Put that back.
Put the cap back on. Screw it on tight. Put it down. What are you doing? Oh boy.
So OVW is this week. He talked about a variety of things. Jamin's still the champ. He's definitely shining the brightest out of anybody over there.
Absolutely.
I don't look for him to be there much longer.
I think he needs to maximize his potential and make a trip down south.
Yeah, I think he needs to go to, and not where Elvis Pridemore's from.
No, that's Atlanta.
Oh, okay.
Further south.
Atlanta.
So good stuff from him, and he's probably a little edgy with you this week, Doc, because going into yesterday, the Reds won the first two games against his Cardinals.
First one being 10-0.
And then they won again. Was it 1-0? Last
Hamilton.
So I think they really do need to sweep the Cardinals to really have a chance to win the division.
If they sweep the Cardinals, what you're going to be looking at is Pittsburgh was losing the last time I checked, so they could make up 2 spots in one night if they win tonight.
Yeah, well, they were 3.5 games back heading into today.
They were 3.5 back, and if they beat the Cardinals tonight and Pittsburgh loses, they'll be 1.5 back.
So. Yeah. So, but good stuff there from Brian Cannon. We want to thank him as always, and also thanks to Cheryl and Terry Bodie for their excellent work with the website and the fanadvocate.com, triplethreattalk.com, and all the above with that. So with that, let's take a break.
Okay, let's take a break.
And when we come back, a little live tweeting action.
We're going to attempt this. We're going to try.
We got a little bit of WWE coverage, but we're going to do some live tweeting, some wild cards, and our idiot of the week. Stay tuned. Triple Threat Talk, Postmaster Jones, The Doc, and Big B, Brandon Rhodes DeMiro. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
You couldn't make a segment without doing it, could you?
Hey, Nick Dinsmore here. Do you have the dream of becoming a pro wrestler? Well, I did, and I came to Ohio Valley Wrestling. Join the Nick Dinsmore Pro Wrestling class today. I'm a former WWE superstar. I'm a former 9-time Ohio Valley Wrestling heavyweight champion, and I can train you to be the best today. For all the information regarding the Nick Dinsmore Pro Wrestling class, go to ovwrestling.com and click on school. Join the Nick Dinsmore Pro Wrestling class today. ovwrestling.com, click on school.
And we're back here on Triple Threat Talk. Postmaster Jones, Jimmy Biggers. Big B is hard at work getting our Twitter feed up and running. You see right here, the Doc went off to grab a few notes, but he will be right back. Before the break, like I said, we were talking about OVW. Now, just to get into a little WWE coverage while these guys, Big B's pulled up our Twitter page for some live tweeting action, and the Doc went to go get some more notes and that together for the show. So, Big B this past week on Raw, I know we talked about it quite a bit during questions. There was a lot of questions about what occurred and the whole storyline with Daniel Bryan and the corporation type thing. And this time, Triple H told Daniel Bryan, you can get your revenge on the Big Show because he has that supposed ironclad contract, which I think it's funny, Big B, that for the last couple weeks we've talked about it on the show that he has an ironclad contract, and now all of a sudden Triple H brings it up. Mm-hmm. All of a sudden it's like, wow, you think maybe he was listening?
Yeah, right.
So he makes the main event, Daniel Bryan versus Big Show, but the match barely gets going. The Shield interferes.
As usual.
Beats the crap out of Bryan. Then Triple H comes down and insists.
It's raining men.
Sir, we're actually filming here. We're talking about what happened on this past Monday
with the Shield?
So he actually, Triple H insists that Big Show punch Daniel Bryan in the face, and he refuses. He's like, no, I won't do it.
What did they say about the ironclad contract?
He mentioned it. He did mention it.
But I mean, he said that he has to compete.
Yeah, he said he has to compete.
So if he could do anything he wanted, then why did he have to punch Daniel Bryan in the face?
Because
if he has an ironclad contract.
Triple H told him to.
Yeah.
But if he has an ironclad contract, that means he doesn't, in fact, have to.
He has to do what he's told.
He does have to do what he's told. That's part of it. Apparently,
He has to participate.
Yes. So he says no and he walks away. And then Stephanie McMahon comes out and she talks. He was like, think about your family show. You got to do it for your family. Go.
Saying he's broke.
Saying that he's
Which
broke.
we know that's not true.
Yeah. So he gets back in the ring and the whole time he's like, no.
I mean, he's not a very good crier.
He's like, ball your fist up and punch him in the face.
I haven't seen anyone cry that much, and what I suspect will be the Brandon Cody wedding. There'll be a lot of tears.
So, one of the worst criers I can think of is Tobey Maguire.
That's
Peter Pan's pretty bad. Peter Pan, Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
So he balls his fist up, he punches Daniel Bryan square dead in the face, and knocks him out cold. Randy Orton then proceeds to come out and stand tall over Bryan as Raw goes off the air. So CM Punk came out and cut a promo about Curtis Axel and Paul Heyman, but they weren't there. The Wyatts had another good promo.
Yeah, they're just so good.
I know. They can just... They don't even have to have wrestlers. They come out and cut promos, and it's amazing.
Raw could just be all Wyatts, and it'd still be...
Just follow the buzzards for the entire 3 hours.
Yeah, that would be absolutely outstanding. But there wasn't a whole lot going on Raw this week. It really wasn't, so it kind of takes care of Raw, I think.
There's one more tidbit of news.
Yes, one more small tidbit.
Obviously, these guys joke and everything. The reality of it is that Cody Rhodes is not really gone. He's obviously... Don't be stupid. Anyway, the story is that he's obviously engaged to former diva Brandy Reed. They're engaged.
Whoa.
You want to change your name to Brandy Reed? We totally understand. I mean, that does kind of fit. Brandon, Brandy, DeMiro, Reed.
Anyway,
I don't get it. But
anyway, he's engaged to his fiancée Brandy Reed, and they're going to get married. And
what's her real name?
I think that's her real name.
Oh, what was her name on WWE?
I don't know quick. But yeah, he's engaged to her, and they're going to get married and have their honeymoon. So that's going to be why he's taking time off. It was very weird how they did it because Creative was not really in the loop as much. So for them to do it in the last minute, that's one thing. But I thought Cody had a fantastic match on Raw with Randy. His match was phenomenal. I thought it was the best match of the night. He really put on a good show for his last match for a little bit. I think he did a good job, to be honest. I really do. Her name is really Brandy Alexis Reed. Her name is
okay. What was her wrestling name? Yeah.
But again, I thought Cody did a fantastic job. His match with Eden Styles. Okay, Eden Styles. Right. So.
Never heard of her.
I hadn't heard of her.
But I thought he did a fantastic. I thought the match was great. He was getting back from Twitter, hashtag All In, from people like his brother Goldust, his father. Everyone was really much rooting for him because he was kind of going against the corporation, so to speak. So, but yeah, his match was the thing I took from Raw as the best thing about it, and his promo I thought was really good too. And he's going to come back, and I think he's going to really get pushed big time for a world title. I really do. I think it's his time. I think that match with Randy Orton really put him up at the very top when he comes back because that match with the Orton was fantastic. It was excellent. So.
Yep. Unfortunately for Big B, no more Cody Rhodes for a while, and we know that does upset him greatly. I know we kid, but we do love Big B quite a bit, and if we didn't love him, we wouldn't make fun of him. That's for sure. So. That's wrestling for this week. Short but sweet. Like you said, we had a lot of sports things to go over. And
it's going to happen. Football's going to take over.
We really didn't have a whole lot of wrestling stuff.
No, it was just pretty much it.
Pretty much it. So
nothing much I can think of.
Yeah. Anything on the feed?
No, nothing.
Nothing on the feed.
It's new.
This is working out.
It's an experiment in the making.
Yeah, we'll maybe next week we'll get it going.
I think next week we should go the whole show.
Yeah.
Two updates before we get into wild card. Before I mentioned about the women's quarterfinal, Azarenka did beat Hantakova 6-2, 6-3. I'm actually getting a live update via Twitter as it happens. Nadal beat Robredo in the first set in 22 minutes. 22 minutes. 6 left. 22 minutes.
It's pretty good. Doc, do you have a wild card this week, sir?
Funny thing is, I did earlier, and I can't remember what it was. I really, honestly can't remember. So go ahead. Maybe I'll remember.
My wild card is this Sunday. Sunday's a huge day. Not just the return of the NFL. We have another episode of Breaking Bad. There's only 4 left. You have the return of Boardwalk Empire on HBO. 4th season is going to be great. And then also Newsroom returns from its 1-week hiatus on HBO after Boardwalk Empire. Sunday's a great night for TV, and it's just getting better because football's back. So it's a good time for sports and a force for TV. So.
My wild card this week has to do with what took place last weekend. I went to the Big O Music Festival in Owensboro, Kentucky. Got to see several big name artists such as Jake Owen and Justin Moore, and then also Colt Ford, Love and Theft, and the Low Cash Cowboys, and a couple others were there. But it was pretty cool. I was right next to the stage, and at one point, Jake Owen actually took my Jake Owen hat and he signed it for me, so it was pretty cool right there, sight unseen. And one of his guitar players, he's like my favorite guitar on his band. On Twitter, you can follow him at Rowdy Rick Riot. His name's Derek Williams, but he goes by Rowdy Rick Riot on Twitter, at Rowdy Rick Riot. I had a sign heading in there Saturday. Friends of mine and Stephanie said, do you want us to make you a sign for Derek? I said, yeah, surprise me. I don't think next time I will let him surprise me.
Right.
Because I got a hot pink sign with black marker that said Derek Rocks, which actually I thought was kind of cool. So, but the hot pink part I could have got past, but apparently it helped because when they first came out, I held up the sign and he kind of did this whole like that to me. Well, then I held it up towards the end of the show, and Jake Owen saw it. And Jake Owen pointed at it, and he's like, Derek does rock. And he's like, hold on a minute. And Jake and Derek came over to me, talked to me for a minute while they're both still on stage, took my sign, they posed with it with a picture, which is pretty awesome. And he actually signed my poster that said Derek Rocks and gave it to me, shook my hand. He said, thanks, man, for rocking out. And I actually talked to him on Twitter the other day about it. So that was pretty cool. Yeah. So it was a fun experience. We had a good time. Other than the 120-degree heat index, which I think I had about 12 bottles of water and about 3 or 4 Gatorades. And water was free. Get that.
Good.
20-ounce water was free.
100 degrees weather needs to be.
That was good of them. So we had a good time. It was a blast. It was my first time there. It was in the middle of a farm out in the middle of nowhere, so it was pretty cool.
Yeah, Big O Fest.
Yeah,
it is.
It was about 15,000 people, and it was pretty awesome. It was like some guy's farm just in the middle of nowhere. It's pretty sweet how they got it set up. So.
Well, I did remember my wild card.
Yes.
And I don't see how I forgot to put this in headlines because it did happen during a sporting event, but I think I wanted to use it as my wild card. Iowa has the world's drunkest fan. Did y'all see this? This Vodka Sam.
No.
She ran onto the field during the Iowa game. Didn't streak, was just running across the field back and forth, was arrested. When she was arrested, she blew a .341. Holy
cow.
And she went from 2,000 Twitter followers to over 40,000 overnight, and she tweeted, I woke up this morning, I have 40,000 Twitter followers, that's up 38,000 from the previous day, because it made such big news. She blew a 341, and you can follow her on Twitter. I follow her now. She puts on an absolute funny stuff on Twitter. It's at vodka_Sam. At vodka_Sam. She doesn't look like she'd be a blast to hang out with. No, she's out now.
So she said she spent the night in jail?
Yeah, she spent the night in jail. She slept it off. She's out now, but she just puts out some hilarious tweets. It's pretty funny.
All right. Do we have an idiot of the week?
Well, maybe me for doing this kind of experiment.
Well, you should have had it up the whole show, not just doing.
Well, maybe so, but we'll know for next time.
I did plan for it. I did post it on Facebook. So.
I did have a small idiot of the week. I wouldn't say he classifies as quite an idiot, but it's kind of more of a head scratcher, really.
Yeah, head scratcher.
Head scratcher of the week.
Yeah.
You're the first ever.
Chris Fowler, ESPN college football analyst and tennis analyst.
And soccer.
That
does it all.
For whatever reason, we're talking about, Louisville has a soft schedule. Yeah, they got to blow teams out. Well, they did exactly what they're supposed to do. They blew Ohio out 49-7. Chris Fowler proceeded to take them from 8th to 14th.
And that's why he doesn't publish the polls weekly.
Head scratcher.
So
exactly.
I
don't get that. I agree with you. Their schedule's terrible. I'm not denying it. They got to blow everybody out. Well, guess what? They blew Ohio out. But you still rated them 14th.
And then here's the thing. In 2 weeks, actually, when Alabama faces Texas Tech, or Texas A&M, when they face Texas A&M, even if Alabama loses, U of L won't move.
No.
If Texas A&M loses, they're liable to go up 1 or 2 spots. It's one of those things.
Just like Georgia lost, so Louisville went up.
Yeah, Louisville went up.
They went from 9th
the official poll.
Yes, in the poll that matters, not the Chris Fowler poll.
Yeah,
not the Chris Fowler poll.
Shut up.
Cody's gonna be jealous.
You like the Cody poll?
And that poll, the Chris Fowler poll. Oh boy. The Chris Fowler poll, you keep number 1, right?
And I think that wraps up the show.
I think so.
Good action-packed stuff. A lot we got to in a short amount of time, surprisingly.
I don't know about that.
Well, we had football pick'ems, college football recap, U.S. Open coverage, baseball. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger from here on out. We can't wait to cover the NFL show. Should be very good.
Yeah. So thanks for watching, guys. If you want to like us on Facebook, please like us on Facebook at facebook.com/triplethreattalk. Click that like button. Follow us on Twitter at triplethreattalk. Of course, next we're going to try this again. Send us any questions you have on Twitter using the
do it from the beginning.
Using the hashtag AskTripleThreat at twitter.com/triplethreattalk. Send us any comment or question you have. Of course, your blogs at triplethreattalk@yahoo.com.
Logs.
Yes. Thanks to Terry and Cheryl Bodie for the website and everything they do for us at triplethreattalk.com. This is Big B.
This is Postmaster Jones, and don't forget, at the back door, the Rhodes and DeMiro wedding reception. It's going to be a blast. I know I'm going to be drunk. I don't know about you.
It's going to be a blast at the back door. This is Gary the Dr. Lockard saying, Triple Threat Talk putting their dancing shoes on, baby.
We going dancing, yeah.
It's raining men. Hallelujah, it's raining men.
This is Big B signing off. And speaking of dancing, go Bill Nye the Science Guy. Got picked for Dancing with the Stars.
YMCA.
Go Bill Nye. Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Macho man.
Science rules. We'll see you next week.
We're doing the wedding reception remix right here live on Triple Threat Talk.